millions watching around the world.
Pull up the seat and pull out your shot glass. Hard liver is for the podcast. Try media for the broadcast. Straight up balling out on they broad ass. The coalition of bitches, they talk trash. On the mission to fit in your soft ass. Rolling green and clubbing this golf class. Loaded lust couldn't say they lost ass. The campus community streets is all sad. Niggas be thinking the heat they all last. Be conscious of all the sand in the hourglass. Be humble when be prepared when the power pass. Old and young niggas, we all clash. Ideology different, we move the ball fast. Yeah, these chickens is out of season, we haul ass. There's a reason we undefeated, it's all fast. Pull up the seat and pull out a shot glass. Hard nigga is for the podcast. Try media for the broadcast. Straight up balling out on they broad ass. Pull up the seat and pull out a shot glass. Hard nigga is for the podcast. Try media for the broadcast. Straight up balling out on they broad ass. Let's go. Look, when we first sent the email, reply was all crickets. 3-man weed, tell my mans book the tickets. From the sideline, y'all gon' have to look and listen. Why y'all business on the book? We tryna sell a book of business. Playing with your mind, yeah, the logo looks suspicious. AI technology, surviving through the glitches. My first flip was 3,000 and all 50s. Couple sticks and stems, but buzz was all sticky. Now we're building corporations, do it no hesitation. It's triple force, get on board with my rotation. All Genesis, they thinking it's Revelations. This all first verse, my pen ain't no location. All leading up to try media innovations. Revenue streams, residual situations. Revenue stream, not rivers, so be patient. My cash flow quadrants, margins so spacious. Kush covers on the market, you can taste it. My ebook hit the web, you can't erase it. When my voice hit the track, it's a wavement. I'm somewhere shopping, buying jewelry out in cases. I attract money, baby, I don't chase it. And I don't slap honeys, baby, I replace them. It's integration if you want that conversation. Handshake, grip it tight like I'm a mason.
For Dr. Vic. My hotel. Miracle. All the life you've been
Yeah.
You just don't know. Let me show you the past so your future can look bright.
Shocker.
I've heard them say that we wasn't even there. Baby, let me make this real. We were the ones. If you pay attention to what I'm about to show, there's no doubt that you will. We were the ones. And I'ma show you. Nefertari would have said she was black because that's the way that white man will show you. Egypt was a black land and King Tut was a black man. Cause that's the way that white man it now. We came from the southern land, so I know they think that we forgot. From the horn and the west, these black people made their way. See them coming for Friday, and here we are. As above, so below, this is how they built in stone. We have never been alone. This is the truth. If you can't see yourself, then it's true you've been misled. Got them lies all in your head. Let me help you, and I'ma show you. Nefertari would have said she was black because that's the way that white man will show you. Egypt was a black man, King Tut was a black man. Cause that's the way that white man will show you. Our history, it ain't no mystery. Just listen and you'll understand and show you what they cannot hide, what they can't deny. That Egypt was a black land. Lately I've been thinking of days gone by. And all the things that we forgot. Voices from the distance. never gonna tell the world. If you do, then prepare for the challenges you face. My heart goes out to you, precious black boys and girls. And I'ma show you who never thought we would have said she was black because that's the way that my man. I'ma show you Egypt was a black man, King Tut was a black man. Cause that's the way that my man. I'ma show you.
Yo, so I know people don't really like Mr. Shaka like that, but that song fire, bro.
It is, and it's very inspirational.
That song is fire. I know he got some trouble in history or whatever, bro, but that song, whatever y'all did, that should have been the original, bro. That shows with a good beat, anything sounds good, bro.
Anything could be hot.
Anything could be hot. Shouts to the chat. We gonna get this going. He said, "Hell no, it's trash." What up, DQ? Tell me how to pronounce your name.
Haskell in the back chat.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna bring him up in 1 second. He said, "This dude said I wouldn't break weed on that." Oh man, DQ with the remix. Shout out to my brother DQ. This dude said I could hear Stewpeas yelling already. Lord, bro. Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Let me finish. And
when you're done, Haskell, I'll walk him down.
I'm gonna walk him down.
So tonight, and then you know what? He kept his word. So tonight, amidst all the jokes, shout out to you, Chef. How'd the first show go? Before we get into it, how'd the first show go?
It was cool. It got the people in the building.
Okay, cool. Last night, my man Gullah, shouts to him. He did a great presentation on the people in Egypt, and full presentation. Got some critique at the end. It was sourced up. It was informational, kind of like I wish how most of these shows would go. And then at the end, he got some pushback, got some critique. It got fun, right? It got a little tense, but that's cool. At the end of the show, and Haskell and Stewpeas, two other members of the community, they started to basically give him critiques on some of the information, and even in all the humor, I could sense that they actually had some issues with some of the information. So I wanted to actually give them the opportunity to come up, present their case, because Gullah did it in a scholarly manner. So at least if you have good retorts, we're going to pull up some parts of the video. This is not going to be a me and Chef show. We're here just as a vehicle for these two brothers to come on. But this show is formatted, so we are following a bit of a format, right? It's not just all freestyle. So it's going to be some questions, some setting up. But I think it'd be good. And then too, it was like the Jamaicans versus Gullah, so that was like even more interesting. So this isn't a hit job. This is a fact check, right? So I want the chat to relax, listen. This should be informational, and this is not, like I said, it's not a hit job. It's more of a fact check. So before we get started, I'm gonna bring up my brother Stewpeas and bring up my brother Haskell, and y'all gonna be the stars of the show. We're not gonna be jumping in your way. I know that's a pet peeve of mine. I know it's a pet peeve of everybody's in the community. So I'm gonna let y'all cook for all intents and purposes. Somebody gotta turn their background down. Somebody gotta turn their music down.
Out of town. Yeah.
So, Chef, did you get a chance to explain what Gullah was actually trying to argue? He put in the Discord what he was trying to argue, but let's see. He put a little bit in the Discord of what he was trying to argue. Essentially, what I got is it was Northeast African genetic diversity and Eurasian admixture. He used sources from Hammerden, 2023, Hohlfelder, 2017. Hohlfelder was Northeast African populations showed genomic diversity, models complex Eurasian back migration. So he had sources. use Wikipedia, Levantine Neolithic ancestry, Natufians. Earlier studies confirm SLC 2485 as a marker associated with lighter pigmentation. And if y'all want to know what Gullah argued, go back because the show was last night, so you can watch that and then put this against the show, and we're gonna pull up some of it tonight. All right. So whoever want to go first, I don't know if it's Stewpeas or Haskell or both of y'all at the same time. Me and Chef are out the way, and y'all go ahead and
Okay.
start cooking.
Let us first do an introductory statement. I will do mine after Haskell. 2 minutes for introduction. Tell you what our major grievance to the presentation is, and we go on from there. So Haskell, you want to introduce first, or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right, let me go first. All right. Night, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am going to critique a presentation I saw yesterday. The presentation was by Haskell, the people of Egypt. The people of Egypt. Who are, yeah, or Gullah, or what I mean. The people of Egypt. Who was those people that peopled Egypt? Was it indigenous people from the south, or was it people that came back into Egypt after the Great African Migration? No, he introduced Northwest Africans as those people who peopled Egypt. No, I have a contention with the sources that he used, and especially Phenotype's webpage that he went on to decide what these people may have looked like. And my contention is that 50,000 years ago, black people didn't look like the black people he presented in picture. The diagram he presented of black people, or the picture evidence of black people. Black people 50,000 years ago in that part of Africa where the Egyptians came from did not have jerry curl. So I will start from there. Haskell, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Man, really don't have much to say. I thought, pretty much was looking forward to reacting to Gullah's video that he put up last night.
Mm-hmm.
My contentions are pretty much along the same lines as brother Stewpeas. This kind of wholesale faith in the phylogenetic tree and the migrations associated with the out of Africa theory. My main thing is that there's not much in the way of empirical evidence to substantiate it. It's pretty much all 95% hypothetical. This ubiquitous back migration, I'm so sick of that word. When we speak about the people who people that region, you would think that the back migrations pretty much make up the bulk of the peopling. Like who are the actual people who were there and were always there and never left there? You know what I mean? Where are they and who are they? It seems like they're an afterthought. Another thing too is to keep in mind, a West Asian of 5,000 years ago, or I should say more accurately, a person in the Arabian Peninsula, particularly the areas that are kind of contiguous with East Africa, which would be kind of in that Oman, Yemen region, right? The southern portion of the Arabian Peninsula. Those people aren't the same people as those pale-skinned Arabs that you see there now, right? So this is not just about Egypt. The demographics of a bunch of places have changed dramatically over the last 5,000 years. The main part where me and people on my side diverge from people on the side of phylogeny is really just a timeline. We all agree that at some point the original people would have been what we would classify as black today. The main separation is that those on the side of the phylogenetic tree says that the major and prolific mixing occurred between 30 to 7,000 years ago, while on my side, I say that dramatic and prolific type of mixing is a very, very recent event. I would say within the last 2,000 years or so. So, I look forward to to reacting to Gullah's video last night, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Okay,
Okay, Chef.
so
Hold on, real quick. So, how do you want me to do this? Did you find timestamps in the video? Do you have stuff that you want
all
me to
right,
pull up? How do you want to start this up?
okay. I would like you to start from the beginning. Both
Okay.
Haskell and I would like you to start from the beginning, and then my first contention is yes. Let's start from the beginning because in the beginning he went back 50,000 years. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, question: are y'all gonna be showing?
No, we don't have anything to show. We're rushed. If
Okay.
we had a
Okay.
day or two or three,
Well, yeah. Take the day or two. This is just a reaction.
this is just
This
a
is just a
reaction.
reaction, right? This
Yeah,
is just a
before with our
reaction.
presentation.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Shout out to my brother DQ. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit.
Of what the Egyptian is.
Was able to get an interview or further ado. Gullah, what's going on, homie?
Speed up past that. We don't need that.
Well, I'm gonna let him explain what he was doing.
Okay.
Come on.
That way the audience could, if they didn't
Yeah,
watch it.
I'm gonna give you the base core of what the Egyptian is. And you know what I'm saying, where them people come from, you know what I'm saying, why are they indigenous Africans from the base root, you know what I'm saying, even to the day. So I'm gonna get it in on that.
Oh, dope. Do you want to lay anything before you start getting into your sources? Or you just want to go right in?
I could just go right in, man, and then we could just sure, you know how we do, get out a discussion.
Right.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying. I made it simple, you know what I'm saying. I thought about Corey and all them type of people, you know what I'm saying, or Brass. They just want it simple, plain, and all that. So I'm just basically gonna give you the time periods. If y'all familiar with something, some people not familiar with time periods. I'm gonna give you the different time periods, time zones, what the people might look like in a different overlap. You know what I'm saying, and we're added to the population.
Bet. All right. Well, when
All right, y'all tell me when to stop.
West Africans, Nilo-Saharians, and other groups. We're gonna
So
start it
start
off
here.
with indigenous
Yeah, that's
Northeast
good.
Africans.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, 50,000 to 20,000 BCE. A lot of people say, oh dang, you know what I'm saying, why you gotta, you know what I'm saying, start that late, you know what I'm saying, or that, you know what I'm saying, that early, or not that late, but that early in Africa to go into the Egyptian population. And I say it's important because at this level, you know what I'm saying, this separates this particular African group from even West Africans, Nilo-Saharians, and other groups. But this is where the common ancestor of them groups split off. Because even like the predecessors of the Nilo-Saharian groups, if y'all know Nilo-Saharian people are the people like the Dinka, the Noor, you know what I'm saying, people like the Maasai, them different type of people, and a lot of people.
Hey, stop it
They
right
are
there real
actually
quick, right?
offbreak of.
Now, keep in mind, I want the audience to keep in mind who he just described as the typical Nilo-Saharan, right? He said the Dinka, the Noor, right? Just in case, because I like that he's keeping it simple, because that's what I'm going to endeavor to do tonight. Just in case everybody don't understand what a Nilo-Saharan is, it's them blackety black motherfuckers. The bowl. If anybody watch basketball, the Manute Bowl niggas, right? That's who a Dinka is. That's who a Noor is, right? That's the goddamn. Who else? Stewpeas? Who is somebody they would know? That got
Somebody.
some.
Yeah, well, Manu Ball and his father. We don't need to go any further.
All right, we could go with Manute Bowl, but I just want people to remember that. But go ahead, Brass.
Northeast African hunter gatherers. you know, of these groups, these different African groups split up and went different directions from East Africa. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these you know what I'm saying, northern groups, the main northern African groups, not Niger Congo, Nile Saharan, Afro-Asiatic populations. From these indigenous African Northeast hunter-gatherers, these different groups branched off and went in different directions. But the particular branch we're going to get into is the groups that became the Afro-Asiatic people, which were Egyptian people come out of in the first place. And the oldest group, even today, that holds that preserves most of the ancient East African hunter-gatherer roots and traits today are the Amadic people, the people in the Omo Valley, or even people know about the Mota finds and all that. They just like an offshoot, isolated group that branched off from these early groups. And the other groups that became the other Afro-Asiatic language branches, you know what I'm saying, laid up in, you know, between the Nile, Saharan regions and the Red Sea Hill in the corridor of Africa, where you might, you know what I'm saying, these populations moving in and out, you know what I'm saying, interacting, you know what I'm saying, living, you know, amongst this corridor region in Northeast Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So these early Afro-Asiatic groups 50,000 years ago, where it's an ancestry of early modern humans who never left Africa or were closely related to East Africans. You know what I'm saying? But this the ancestral group. This is what a different group split at. Likely, this what they look like. Likely appearance, dark to deep brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how like what you would call sub-Saharan Africans today.
Mm-hmm.
But people have to understand, even like them groups that we think of, like Niger Congo people, Nilo Saharians and all that, you wouldn't really call them sub-Saharan Africa. They were just Saharan Africans, like what Kieta called Super Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
Because these groups, you know what I'm saying, we call them sub-Saharan now because they you know what I'm saying, recent regions. But these groups come from northern areas when Africa was much more tropical. You know what I'm saying? At this time.
All right.
Sahara, it goes green.
Based on what he's saying, describing the groups and what they look like, I wanted to jump to 2149 or 48 and pause it. Pause it at 2148. Mm-hmm. All right. I wanted you to catch the picture. You only cut off half of it. That picture in the background with those Jericho-looking people. No, the picture in the background with the Jericho people.
Go
Remember,
forward a little
he
bit,
was describing.
I'm gonna go to it's one of my favorite tools.
Okay, so I gotta go
people.
back.
But even before then,
No.
people
Forward.
Right?
There you go.
No, yeah. But I want to capture because
regular
there's
East African at that time had some of the look that they have today.
I'm trying to figure out what.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna give people a view.
Yeah, see there. All right. You didn't catch it. All right. It's right there, but it's hard to catch because I wanted to do a comparison of those pictures that he's showing and ask yourself if you're seeing anybody looking like Bobo in any of those descriptions of the people that existed at that time. We have it somewhere else, you know. Could you show it, Haskel, that picture in the background? What they're talking about? Yeah. That picture has nothing to do with how we describe the African 50,000 years ago.
The look that they have today.
Right? Because he's saying that the Africans that existed 50,000 years ago.
There it is.
Yes, there it is. Now, if you could build that up, show me any Bobo-looking Negro in that picture. We already established that who he said was there in description is not there in that picture. Everybody in that picture look like the Jericho dude from Coming to America. Even the blackest of the blackest. So number one, he's saying one thing with his mouth, but the images that he's depicted does not confirm what he said. He have a bunch of nice mixed looking people, Halle Berry looking people, from Michael Jackson from Off the Wall straight to Michael Jackson from Remember the Time. Now, let's move on to another 2 seconds more. He says this tool is his favorite tool. Press play. I'll tell you when to pause.
I'm gonna go to one of my favorite tools, human phenotypes.
Yeah. Continue. I'll tell you when to pause. Right.
Proto.
Ethiopia.
Yep.
Right. Stop. Pause. Beautiful. No, this is his favorite tool. Now, if you read the bottom line of that tool, it says the literature. The literature, what comes to these conclusions. Literature as described by Goldfrieder, 1913, later adopted by part of that name cut off, as well as part of that name cut off. But there's 2 other names here because he says that website is updated. Let's look at Ludman. Who is Ludman? Who is Ludman? Today I dropped something in the Discord as to who is Ludman. Let's hope that I don't get cut off. Am I still on?
Yeah,
You're on.
Yes.
You still on? No, he got a connection issue.
Yeah, I don't know if Stewpeas, you can hear us?
No, he got a connection issue.
Yeah, he was cooking too. Because you know
No,
what?
all right. Sorry. Ludman, right? Because I can't go on the Discord and this at the same time. I wish somebody could go on the Discord. Because today I dropped 3 things to describe 3 of those persons.
Around what time, bro?
Around 2:45. Right? I call him, look at the sources from this dude. Right? 3 different people. They're who most of this website is based upon. Right? If you can go into the Discord, you'll see them. Let me check until the exact time. I'm going to drop off for a second, but give me a second.
No, I found it.
Yeah, find them for me.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2:45. Stewpeas dropped them. About 3 of them because I didn't want to research everybody. Because from a research first.
It starts with Charles Kuhn, right?
Right. Charles Kuhn. Click on
Charlton S. Kuhn.
Right. Click on who Carlton X Kuhn is. Even the place where it's from, New Zealand, I think, has a disclaimer about Carlton S. Kuhn. This is the website that he's using. Huh? Start with him. Read what they say about him.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna put it in the so they can see it. 1 second. Go ahead. I'm gonna put it in the yeah.
Now, this is a critique of the website that he's using, right?
This is the critique of his favorite website. This is remember, if we go back 2 seconds and listen to what he said, this is my favorite website where I get my sources from.
Okay.
Right? So this is a critique of both him and his website. Because the source of where he gets his sources from, where he frames his fundamental argument on what these people look like. This website is based on a man like Kuhn. Who is Kuhn? I've 3 of them there. 3 of them who, if you go further, you will see that they have more of them. There was 6 of them in all I decided to research. But after the first 3, the 3 more recent, Roberts, 1981, Kuhn, and somebody else, I realized that this dude are using pseudoscientists, racists, what you call the one them who what Charles Darwin brother-in-law was?
Eugenicists.
Eugenicists. Those are the dudes who formulated this. So these eugenicists will never choose the blackest of the black people. They'll always look for wavy hair, straight hair, European blended black people to be the ones who build Egypt. But that's his website. So Charlton X Kuhn there. Read the first line they say about Kuhn. Read it.
Carlton Stevens Kuhn, June 23rd, 1904, June 3rd, 1981. He was an American anthropologist and professor at University of Pennsylvania. He is best known for his scientific racist theories concerning the parallel evolution of human races, which were widely disputed in his lifetime and are considered pseudo-scientific by modern science.
Okay, stop. So
damn.
again. So the first person that is relying the website on, I didn't say it was pseudo. I didn't say it. Did I say?
Damn.
Did I say this is his favorite website? No. No. If somebody pull up that website and give you any information, is that
And
information
why his name gotta be Coon, bro? That's
that dude attach himself to a coon.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. Now, Chef, did you know last night that this was one of this? Did you know that this was one of the guys?
Hell no, I ain't know that.
Because you was eating it up, Paul.
Yeah, he was. Yes,
you was raising them like Lazarus last night. So you was like he gave you a plate and a bowl and fed you. You was loving it. But listen, he is best known for his scientific racist theories concerning the parallel evolution of human races, which were widely disputed in his lifetime and are considered pseudo-scientific by modern science.
Excuse me?
Okay, now go to the next one. There's two more. Let me.
So another. You're talking about another. What's the name, right?
Yeah, another source. It's three in all.
Ludman next. The Ludman next.
Ludman and the Roberts, right? Ludman is there. See there? Ludman 1967. He's also there. I'm not lying. And then the next one he had Roberts. But this is the website that he relies on to formulate his argument.
Walk him down.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie right now, nigga.
We should have called this shit Walk Him Down.
Hey, Stewpeas carrying me right now, nigga. I'm just hey. I'm just getting rebounds, setting screens, nigga.
Throwing that bitch out.
He said he was gonna walk him down.
Yeah, he said he was gonna walk him down, so he is walking him down. That first one was damning, bro. That first one was pretty damning, I ain't gonna lie. All right, so this is the website, the Swedish Phytogeographical Society.
Right. What they say about Wedman? The first thing they did, they disowned him. If you read that line, I think it's that. I'm not sure if it's that one where they disowned him.
Okay,
and
right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says, let me just make it a little larger for the crowd. And for the crowd, post your questions, just save them, so I'll get back to it when we get there. So it says, since the early 1990s, the Swedish Phytogeographical Society has benefited from financial resources from two foundations.
No. I think there's another one.
No. This is it. I already read the whole thing. Resources from I read this earlier. Foundations established by Bertil Lundman, 1899 to 1993. The funds provided by these foundations are used for various society activities, including research scholarships and society support of excursions and meetings. Ludman was an anthropologist at Uppsala University, who held racist views and published racist articles. The SVS, hold on, the bold is important. The SVS rejects racist views as well as other forms of discrimination, and in fact, actively works to encourage and support researchers from diverse backgrounds to conduct fundamental research.
Okay, so there's a second researcher on the site that is also racist. Because when I step in people's throat, I don't step one time in them. So nobody can say, show me one more. There's one more now, because I needed three. One kick in the face, one kick in the nuts, and then one kick in the chest. No. Baker's not on this. Baker.
I'm trying to find the time. I'm scrolling down.
Yeah.
But I don't.
They're close to each other.
Okay, they're very close. All right, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is.
Okay.
This is crazy, dog.
That's that, and then I'm assuming this is that. No, they both take me to the same place, too.
No, I think I don't remember what but Baker Baker is also a racist. A
What's
Go on the
scientific
Discord
racist.
and find the time. Go on the Discord and find the
what's
Yes.
his
time.
what's his first? What's Baker's first name?
John Randall Baker,
All right, just run a quick little wiki on him or whatever. Google him.
1981.
All right, while
Yeah,
we
yeah,
doing that, while we doing that, Chef Reen,
Yes, sir.
I got a question. So now, where's your stance? This is where I get interested. I don't really care about the Egypt conversation, but where is your stance? If someone presents
Is the
you
first? Hold on. Is
information,
the first one, Brass?
oh,
At 2:04.
okay,
At
I'll find it now.
2 o'clock at 2:04 p.m. is the first one. It say number 3. That's racial science and social context. John R. Baker on eugenics, race, and the public role of the scientists.
Okay, good, I got it. Now, before we go into Baker, I got a question. I think I don't know if it's kick him in the neck. I don't know which one we at. So the third one is the third one. So my question to you though, while I got you, because you actually
Second him. Sheffin was seconding him with that side.
you were raising them. You were raising them like Lazarus last night. So here's my question. No. So here's my question, right? If in this conscious community or in this conversation, if you present these sources, right, but you do go back and look at these sources, these are 3. One was Gullah's favorite. If all 3 are basically deemed racist, what do you do with the information? Like, if it, do you just throw it out, or how does that work? Yeah, I know that's a tough one. I know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know if. All right, so I'm gonna give you my stance. I don't know if the websites are racist. They're talking about people who was born in 1900, so they could have did field work, right, in anthropology and collected and stored how phenotypes diversify, right? So are we saying that a person that holds racist beliefs can't collect data that future generations can use without their conclusions? Meaning, could I collect data, right? And if my data is valid and empirical, can my data be used and not my conclusions?
All right, beautiful. Let me answer that question. Right. No, when we do research, especially quantitative research, because this is not qualitative research, this is basically observation and interviews and looking at other people to decide. Your bias is more important than anything else. Now, what these gentlemen are showing you is that they're biased against Manute Bol, because they think that he's less intelligent, especially Baker with his IQ and intelligent question. So they will be the one to presume that black people, especially very black people, do not possess the intelligence required to formulate a society such as Egypt, because it's part of the thinking. So even when faced with those facts, they will have to contribute it to some Asiatic black people, not Manute Bol. So when we use racist people like those, their findings now have to be taken with a grain of salt. So now you are swallowing up these persons, not realizing that they went into the research with major biases. So we have to say, no, I cannot trust your research because who you are and what you represent. Because I do not know if you do not come to this research with intrinsic bias against a group of people. So no matter what the group of people present, you are going to always say it cannot be them. Now let's read Baker. And then I'll come
wanted to say something, then I'll go to Baker. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when it comes to Egyptology and many of the positions that a lot of us hold, you're gonna see the same recurring theme over and over. A lot of the ideas in Egyptology that are kind of set in stone were created by virulent, and I'm talking virulent anti-black racists, right? Even the concept of a Nubia A group, a Nubia B group, a Nubia C group, which was created by George Reisner, I believe like in the early early 20th century or whatever the case may be, right? He had the same sort of ideas. When he was doing his excavations in Kush, and we're talking about Kush, right? This is below the Second Cataract. These are the Blackety Blacks. We're not talking about Egypt. He said that the Kushites wasn't responsible for those temples and what they had going on down there. It was some outsiders from West Asia, right? So you keep seeing this same recurring pattern every single time. There's this continual need to take agency out of Africa and put it somewhere else. So yeah, you all right. Another example I wanted to bring up, a more recent example, because this goes to what Chef's point, right? Whether or not you can trust the data. Let's talk about Richard Lynn and their IQ nonsense, right? When they give their IQs for Sudan and Ethiopia and all these countries, right? You could say, okay, Richard Lynn is a racist, but that doesn't mean that his data is tainted. And you could say reasonably, all right, maybe not. You'd have to go into the granular details of that data and sift through it to see the bullshit. Now with him, what Richard Lynn did was, any good scores that he got from those regions, he discarded them for arbitrary reasons. He'd take the low scores instead of the higher scores. He'd take a refugee group who hadn't eaten in like 30 days and all type of little, sleight of hand tricks or whatever the case may be. So one thing about, there's no bias like an anti-black racist bias. You know what I'm saying? This is not no regular bias. If you know anything about racists, these people are so demonic that they would the lens they will go to distort information
and to discredit black people. Discredit.
Yeah, you just got to take that stuff with a grain of salt, like Stewpeas is saying.
Yeah, no, let me just finish with saying this. No, if the tenets or the foundation of your argument is based upon those opinions of eugenicists and racists, I don't know what to say. Is that Baker?
Yes.
Racial science in social construct. No, this British biologist, John Randall Baker, was one of the best of all when it came to races. So this dude with the bell curve and all of his conclusion, this is who that website rely on to formulate his argument. That's why you never see a Manu Bolt in the picture that he presented, the one that we showed earlier. Because when they're formulating their hypothesis and who they are using, they totally discard the blackest of us. And this has been happening since, if you go back to this page and you go back to that page, since 1920 ad. And one thing we know about repetition, the more you repeat a lie, the more it begins to sound truthful. Now, Gullah has been repeating a lie for the last 10 years, and he starts to believe the lie. Because he learned the lies from liars.
Who would be the liars?
These men that he relies on as his source.
Okay.
The Bakers, the Ludmen. And he started to believe that because these men are anthropologists and they went to Harvard and they went to the University of and they went to all of these institutions, they must be truthful when we are figuring out who these men that these research relies upon. So I cannot take anything they say without a ton of salt, not a grain, a ton of salt. So now, what you rely on, when they say, oh, this is my favorite source, this is my favorite tool. So his favorite tool is built up on the backs of racist liars. So
now,
he is built up on the back of racist liars also. So we cannot take Gullah seriously with nothing that he says. He can H1, B1, C1 till the cows come home. Because if we even go into that, and many of the researchers into that also, are also racist and eugenics. And if you want me to play that game, I will say, boy, you is the white man house boy. You're carrying water for the white man. And you have been doing it for years. I don't know what color they were, but I'm not relying on those white men who are proven liars, proven racists, proven eugenicists to tell me who they are.
Now
I prefer to come.
I got a
Yeah.
quick question for you going to Baker, because I don't wanna, I wanna get it to the information, but now, Chef, me and you are gonna do a show on OJ, right? We're gonna
Yes,
do
sir.
a nice panel show. We're gonna do something on OJ, right? So here's
Yep.
my question to you, and to ask to the panel, but Chef, I want you to answer first. One of the things in the OJ trial was, and one of the critiques, I've been doing a little bit of research on the trial, is people were asking the question about Mark Furman, and that the guy collecting the evidence was they found racist information on him. But one of the arguments from the defense, the prosecutor, one of the arguments from the prosecutor was after that bombshell dropped that Mark Furman was a racist, they got him on racist tapes. He was the one alone with the information. I mean, the evidence. That the evidence, no matter what, it still pointed to O.J. Simpson. But essentially, most people believe he got off, one, because of the glove, but mostly because of the injection of racism into the case. Now, that leads me to my question. If Baker, Ludman, and these racist people during the time of scientific racism were racist, okay, we get it. They had racist views. But if the information checks out, and it was
Oh, you know.
correct. No, hold on, Stu. Real quick. Y'all, it's y'all show. Y'all gonna have a chance to answer. I'm just trying to be as unbiased as possible. No, I ain't saying unbiased. I was something else. Whatever other word besides that.
Impartial.
Impartial, right? Impartial as possible. Yeah, I can't do that. So if the information is correct, but the scientists who gathered it were racist, then what do you do? Somebody has background when y'all not talking. I don't know if it's Stu or Haskell. Y'all got to mute when y'all not talking. It sounds like a car or something in the background. But what do you do when the racist if it's a racist doing it? Gullah, you will be able to defend yourself. You can come up. You're gonna come up at the end. I ain't gonna do that to you, brother. If the information is correct, but the guys who gathered it was racist, then what do you do?
Because answer.
Let Chef go first. Let Chef go, and then and this y'all show, so I wanted to end with y'all in most cases. But go ahead.
If you find out that a racist has collected verifiable information, then you got to take the information, right? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't deny verifiable information because of the source. Right now, if you find that the information is tainted because of the source, then yeah, you can reject it. So if Stewpeas and Haskel can show that this website and the phenotype predictions is tainted by the racism, then yeah, we can't use it. You dig what I'm saying? I totally agree with them. You dig what I'm saying? So
okay, go ahead, Stewpeas.
No, the goalpost has been moved because I need to complete one more step.
Okay, go ahead,
first, I found out that one, you're using racist source, that you're using people who disregarded black people, who question the IQ of black people. Now, if I go down the line to prove these sources, I will also have to use other men who practice scientific racism to disprove men who practice scientific racism. And that is not what I am going to do. My job here is to sow a seed of doubt, to show that people don't know how to research, to show that the research that they rely on is by tainted men who is in that field. If this was a police officer collecting evidence, it would be different. But these are racist men coming to conclusion about people 50,000 years ago.
Okay.
Right. So it's a different ball game.
I wouldn't argue.
Right. This is a whole total different ball game.
No, at that point or where we're at, meaning we're not a part of no think tanks or universities.
Yeah.
So at that point, we don't have to rely on something that could possibly have been tainted by races. We don't have to go that far. You feel me?
It's not a current event.
Yeah.
This is something that has some kind of doubt anyway because of it's so far ago. Okay.
So it started with doubt. And then we double down on the doubt because we use racist men to make our point. So the mere fact that you pull these persons up and it was your favorite website, it's your favorite tool to show these Negroes that they don't know what they're talking about. This is my tool that I'm going to use to show these Negroes, these Egyptologists, that they don't know what they're talking about. But I'm going to rely on some racist motherfuckers who don't give a frig, who would not recognize a black person before they spit on them. And then I'm going to use pictures that shows that there's no image of a Manute boat looking Negro from South Sudan as an original African from 50,000 years ago. We're talking about 50,000 years ago when there was not much admixture. When there's not, people are still coming in, yes? But to that point down that section, no, he totally disregarded that. Instead of he showed that Jerry Curl Negro, and he said, look at these fools in the conscious community. I can come with tainted information and give these fools, and I'm going to try to justify it. But he didn't know that Stewpeas, when Stewpeas don't like you, Stewpeas is going to walk you down and pick apart the information. Because I'm intrinsically evil like that. Right? Okay. So it took me 5 minutes to say, let me see what information he's using and who these men were.
Let's pull up. Right? Can you explain to the chat what you mean by Manute Bowl? They're a little confused. I think they're not, but they kind of like just want some clarity on what you're saying. Then we're gonna go to Baker. Right. Then we're gonna
let me ask Peter about Juice. Haskel, what race of people does Manute Bowl belong to? And is it an ancient population?
Yeah, I believe Manute Bowl is I believe he's Dinka, if I'm not mistaken. Could look it up. Remember, this is what Gullah said now. Gullah listed a particular group that he filed under the Nilo-Saharan to make a point, and the groups that he listed was the Newer and the Dinka. So if anybody's confused about what we are getting at when we say the Manute Bowl phenotype, just simply Google what a Dinka or a Newer person looks like. It's the same person who Chef always called Bayor. I don't know who that is. But it's them super black motherfuckers, man. You know what's going on, man.
It says the Dinka people. It says the Dinka people are an ancient Nilotic ethnic group with roots tracing back over 5,000 years to at least 3,000 BCE in the Sudan region, originating as cattle herding agricultural settlers. In the Nile Valley, they established a distinct cultural identity that has persisted for thousands of years, with significant population expansion occurring around 1500 CE. So it don't give me how they just trace it back to 5,000 years ago.
So they trace it back to, right? So, okay, so if we go back 50,000 years, those people are Jerry Curls.
Yeah. So, but in other words, right? In other words, right? The people who we refer to as a Dinka or a Newer, those identifiers didn't exist 50,000 years ago. Obvious. It should be obvious to anyone, right? Okay. But we're talking about a general phenotype. So when Gullah in his presentation says Nilo-Saharan groups, and he specifically mentions the Newer and the Dinka, he's giving you a guidepost, so to speak, of the physical type that he's referring to. Now, if the Dinka today look like Manute Bowl, okay, what would those people, their predecessors, look like 50,000 years ago?
Michael Jackson.
When it wasn't hardly any mixing whatsoever.
Michael Jackson.
Okay, I got it. Ancient roots. The genetic and physical characteristics of populations in East Africa, including those ancestral to Dinka, were influenced by significant population
Somebody
shifts.
got to mute out. Hold on. Between you and Stewpeas, one of y'all got to mute out. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, ancient roots. The genetic and physical characteristics of populations in East Africa, including those ancestral to the Dinka, were influenced by significant population shifts and adaptations occurring as far back as 20,000 years ago. That's what I got.
Okay.
So I am there. I just dealt with him sources and him website. So I already established that his favorite website, what he used to form the foundation of his argument, is based upon pseudo men. So if his foundation come from pseudo sources, if that means him building is built in sand, and it cannot stand up to an earthquake. Because if your foundation is built upon that website,
that's a key point, y'all. It's not just the racism. When we read the wiki read-ups, it said that shit was pseudo.
Right.
It said that.
So he's using pseudo sources from pseudo men. So he's using pseudo information to try to fool people. But we're not going to go any further. That's my first.
That's Dior, ain't it?
Yeah, that's my first drop. So anybody who want to go and read up on Baker, the name is there. You can read up on it. So Haskel, the button is passed. I run one leg. Your leg no.
Is that Dior right there?
Shoot, Chef would know.
That's Dior. Yeah, that's Dior.
Okay.
How the hell you get that?
Hey man, I'm good at my job now. I just don't do it much.
That's Dior.
All right, so do you want me to read this Baker or no?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. The point has already been made. And if you want me to research more on that site and who that site relies on, it's a bunch of pseudo, eugenics, anti-black individual. At the end of every page, when you click on it, and it shows who they're talking about, and you read up the gentleman who research and relies on, it's always some racist, anti-black, eugenics-based pseudo men. And the further back in time you go, if you look at 1927, it's even worse among those men.
But he looks like a good guy. He looks like a stand-up guy that would give a black man a chance. That's what he looks like. He looks like he'll give me. Wait a minute. Shouts to Fetty. Give me 1 second. I gotta read some of this. Give me 1 second. Because I just saw bell curve. So,
right.
British biologist John Randall Baker. He was born in 1900. He died in 1984. He published a large and controversial book simply entitled Race that reiterated persistent eugenicist themes concerning the relation between race, intelligence, and progress. The history of Baker's book is a case study in the politics of scientific publishing, and his ideas influenced His ideas influenced scholars associated with later works, such as the Bell Curve. Baker, a student of Julian Huxley, was a longtime participant in the British eugenics movement and opponent of what he took to be a facile belief in human equality. In 1942, together with Michael Polanyi, he founded the Society for Freedom in Science to oppose those who advocated the central planning of scientific research. Baker's eugenics, political activities, and views on race express an elitist individualism associated with the conservative wing of the eugenics movement that this paper explores in the context of his career as a whole. So the people who made the bell curve pulled from this guy.
Yes, the people who makes, and that guy was the guy who was describing who the ancient Egyptians are. He did that also. So he's not going to give black people a chance.
And keep in mind too, keep in mind, Gullah objected to when I said this last night, right? We're not just talking about the ancient Egyptians. Forget them. We're talking about also the people that were in Kush, who everybody agree is black. Chief X, Chef, nobody don't get no pushback or say them people not black, right? And for the 50,000 years, Gullah says, oh, that's just the overlap. Well, the overlap means that the people who overlap with those Egyptians from 50,000 years ago, it's saying that the people who peopled the region that's south of Egypt, right, which is the Kushite area, it's depicting those people. And those people look like he said, like goddamn the nigga off for Coming to America with the Let Your Soul Glow.
Yeah.
Right? They don't look like goddamn, they don't look like Bayor. They don't look like Manute Bol. This Kush we talking about. How racist can you be? Nigga, that's a different kind of racism, dog. Like, okay, you want to take away Egypt. It ain't had nothing to do with no black folk. Got it. But goddamn, even Kush, my nigga, you trying to make them niggas some light skinned, wavy haired niggas Kush, bruh?
Yeah. Brainwashed by white people. That is when a man become a white person stooge. All he does is listen to their information and took it like gospel. And then they come to us and say, oh, Black Egypt, we're blackologists. But you're the white man tool. You're a useful idiot. You're a burden to black people.
Shakir, I can't pull the article. If you're using a Discord, you could drop it in the Discord. Or if you was up here, if you do come up here when we open the link, just drop it in the private chat and I'll open it. But if I click on it, it'll take me off the StreamYard.
Right.
Okay,
all right, continue playing because there's more to go. Continue playing. Haskel have it now.
And y'all gotta be patient. I mean, he's walking them down, he's running them down. So you gotta be patient.
My bad. Where y'all at?
Hold on.
I'm waiting on Brad to play the
We're
video.
at I can hear. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm playing it. Y'all just can't see it. Go ahead. I was playing it, but I didn't share the tab. Go ahead.
Occasionally around Kanuma and Nora, also Amhara, Eritrea, Rara and Oromo, Bija, and others. But like this, you know, because you can still see people with these features, you know, even today, because they pass these traits on. But this particular population, these proto-Ethiopoids, these, you know, East African hunter-gatherer groups, it's the ancestral group that split off, you know what I'm saying, that split in different directions. Some became, you know what I'm saying, the modern Afro-Asiatic populations. Some became the Nilo-Saharan groups, and some became the, you know what I'm saying, the Niger-Congo groups that they moved west, you know what I'm saying, through the Green Sahara or the South Central Green Sahara. You know what I'm saying, became modern West Africans. You know what I'm saying, bringing in them E-markers. You know, them E-markers started in the East. You know what I'm saying, and it became different, you know, population. People mutate, you know what I'm saying, and all that. And even right here, it say indifference in other Ethiopoids as well as, oh my bad, I ain't meant to hit that up. It said Nilo-Saharans. Even right here, the Amadi group. You know what I'm saying? Even in that population, people would have been looking like this too. Even though the Amadi group is more modern, but they still hold them ancient, you know what I'm saying, features. The people look like that very narrow face, long limbs, you know, as I described in the documentation.
Okay, so these are the proto groups.
Yeah, this right here, these are modern groups in that proto-Ethiopia. These are, you know what I'm saying, these are what the proto-Afro-Asiatic population would have looked like.
Okay.
Before mixing with other, you know what I'm saying, population.
Awesome. Okay.
And they would have been a sister group of modern Nilo-Saharan populations and proto-Niger-Congo population or proto-Niger-Godofin population before them population moved west and became modern West Africans as they, you know, they mixed with them local populations in West Africa. But that's for another you know what I'm saying, another presentation all itself. Okay, but I'm finna go into
Okay, do you want me to speed it up? You got a part, or we just
okay,
listen
I'm
to
gonna get
it?
into right here, and right here say these are the right here say
You could
say the genes. It say no SL.
hold on. No, I'm saying you could let it keep going. Let me see what he's saying.
SL24
So they wasn't light skinned. They didn't have a light skin gene.
No, they had a light skin gene.
Okay.
If they did, if they had like skin variation, it was dark to deep brown.
Deep brown. You know? That was their variation that said that right there. Dark to deep brown.
Dark to deep brown. The light skin at that time was just dark.
Right.
The deep brown was dark skin. And it say these are the core ancestral populations of Nile Valley and the Horn. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's they, you know what I'm saying, they deep layer, you know what I'm saying, the ancient layer. And it say early Eurasian back migration, 30,000, you know, 20 to 20,000 BCE. So in the midst of this, you know what I'm saying, this 50,000, 20,000, in the middle of here, you got 30,000 years ago where these base Eurasian populations moving back in.
Small groups of them.
Yeah. It's a small groups related to Western Eurasians moving back into Northern Africa.
No, this is an important part because what Sheffrin just said is important. When he's discussing back migration, right? He's saying that these Eurasian population came back into Egypt. There was back migration, right? No. The thing that Sheffrin said to him and did not follow up on was what were the size of these groups? That's a question Sheffrin asked, you know. But then Sheffrin answered the question himself and said they were small groups. So these small groups 30,000 years ago these groups were so influential that they changed the population of a dominant people that existed in that area, because we know back migration occurred among small groups. It wasn't like it wasn't a jumbo jet. It was groups of 15 and 20 people on a regular basis, but it wasn't 15 and 20 people every day. It wasn't a train. It was small groups coming back in. But what he's trying to tell you that 30,000 years ago, these small groups, right? So I have 100 gallons of milk, which represent 10,000 people. And I drop 2 gallons, which represent 20 people in 10,000 people. And you're going to tell me that coffee is going to change the color of 100 gallons of milk? No, it's not. But what he's telling you people is that you're so stupid that you can't recognize that when people say back migration, that's a problem I have with back migration, you know. Because both migration out of Africa and migration back into Africa occurred among small groups. So even when he goes through his diatribe of back migration, it's always coming from Eurasia. If you listen to his thing, there was not much internal migration, meaning that the people in the south, right, in Sudan, who lives on the bank of the River Nile, was not inquisitive. It's only people from Eurasia who were inquisitive and who were intelligent enough, according to Baker. Baker telling that is intelligent people back migrated into Egypt. The Dumbos who lived in the south, the black people who lived in the South were so stupid that although they lived alongside a river, they never was inquisitive enough to traverse that river to say, where does this end? He never mentioned internal migration. And if you live in the United States of America, you know that people like to move around. A New York Negro will find himself in LA. It's the nature of people. But at the same time, black people, according to him, because in none of his presentation, he mentions internal migration. But he's saying that 20 people on regular intervals change a population of an established population. That's a problem with it. Because when people telling about, oh, the genetic XYZ, and the genes will tell you that this occurred 20, 30,000 years ago. According to who? Where is the proof? You read two papers and two papers tell us, oh, this migration changed change the look of an established population. It doesn't work like that. The only time you change the look of an established population is when the majority shift or the significant proportion. 20 people can't change it. I'm not saying some features might not look different over time, but it would erase after a couple of generations. So a lot of these migrations, a lot of these changes actually occur. I'm not talking about those persons who live on the edge of the Black Seas. I'm not talking about the Eritreans and the Ethiopians who have constant back and forth across that river. Although that would also take time. Because we're quick to erase black people from history, not recognizing that if you use common sense, and when people use the argument back migration, you need to ask them, what is back migration? How do you account for back migration? How many persons? Were they migrating in empty land, or were they migrating in a place where there was already an established population? Because I like to say that these light-skinned people was in Egypt 50,000 years ago. There was in Egypt 60,000 years ago. I guess 60,000 years ago, 70,000 years ago. What was the diversity look like 70,000 years ago? What did people look like 70,000 years ago? How homogeneous was the population 70,000 years ago? Those people from the islands, they migrated out of Africa through Egypt, because that's the route they took, through Northeast Africa 70,000 years ago, until they reached those islands. What did people look like 70,000 years ago? Then he tried to introduce the gene responsible for lightness. The first thing he says 50,000 years ago, oh, that gene didn't occur 50,000 years ago. But then 20,000 years ago, he's talking about that gene. When we know that that gene wasn't fully developed until 14,000 years ago, 14 to 15,000 years ago, and it started up north. Right? But then now, he's going to tell you all kind of bullshit because you don't use common sense. Don't let a nigga fast talk you, because his presentation was a lot of fast talk. 4,500 to 3,000 BCE. Now Egypt were a blended population. Right? Upper Egypt, indigenous influence, dark to medium brown skin, curly to kinky hair. Lower Egypt. When we talk about Lower Egypt, we're talking about North Egypt if we're using current geographical direction. So Lower Egypt is in the north, Upper Egypt is in the south. 4,500 years ago. 4,500 BCE. 4,500 BCE, was there an Egypt? Isn't Nama Egypt? If we should call one person Egypt, Nama is Egypt. Right? Because he codified it, he unified it. So there was no Egypt before Nama.
Yeah, there is no such thing as Egypt before Narmer's unification, right?
Right. And so when was Nama? When was Nama?
They said around 3100 BC.
But how is he calling the place Egypt? 3500 BCE, 4000 BCE. How is he calling it Egypt? Because he's razzle-dazzling you. He's throwing out information and say, what stick to the wall? What shit can I say that these people who don't have any sense will bite into? Because I can't use A1, B1, C1, A yet. Because guess what? Guess what? We don't have no genes for them people, eh? Them not break down them genes for them people yet. From 4,500 BCE. We don't have no breakdown on the genes for them people there.
All right, so we're at an hour 15. What is there anything specific?
No, I will give. Take it to him. 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 Haskel, take it to him.
Is there anywhere in the video that like try to find the 2 or 3 things, because I do want to open it up, and out of respect to Gullah, I do want to give him a chance to defend himself. And then also the chat, because the chat has had a lot of information, and I kind of want to go into the chat. So if y'all got questions, just hold them until I say questions, so that way it doesn't get lost and I don't got to look all the way back up. Go ahead, Haskel. And is there anything else in the video specifically that I need to find to address?
Yeah. I didn't go through the video earlier to get any timestamps or anything.
I know.
Wait,
Haskel. Also, for the chat, this was rushed. I asked them at 2:30 to do this evening, so this is purely just a reaction. So that's part of the reason. It's not them that they're not. This show Gullah had was last night. They're gonna come back with a presentation sourced of the things that they're saying, some new information that they're presenting. But this, I asked them, and they're my brothers, so they did this as a favor for me and Chef, to just react to last night, because I wanted to keep the feeling from last night. So for everybody saying that we're just talking and things like that, it's literally just a reaction. So you can look up the things, and then when they come back with their sourced information, then you can kind of chop it up. Go ahead, Haskel.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of the way how we look at these ancient groups and these ancient states or whatever, right? A lot of it is formed by the way how it's framed by these early Egyptologists, right? And one of the examples I love to point out, because even on the Blackology side, I feel like they fell for this, right? I always ask a simple question, right? They always talk about so-called Nubia, right? Now, first of all, back in the days of the Narmer and the first, second dynasty, there was no Nubia during Pharaonic Egypt. Didn't exist. Nubia is an invention of modern day Egyptology, right? The Greeks, when they conquered Egypt, they couldn't penetrate past the first cataract, right? The Kushites basically made a stand there. The Kandake, which is the female ruler of Kush, they basically made a stand there and rebuffed the Greek. Now, the Greeks were the one that named that area Egypt, right? Mm-hmm. So from that point on, this idea of the first cataract being this so-called natural border, that's the genesis of that idea, right? Now, Reisner comes along in the 20th century or 19th century, whenever he did his thing, right? And he codifies this idea of Egypt being the first cataract and north of the first cataract. But if I ask people a simple question, right? Before Narmer, there was no Egypt, right? Boom, everybody agrees with that. When Narmer consolidated those lands that formed Tawi, or what we call Egypt, right? Was the area between the first and second cataract included? Just so people know, the area between the first and second cataract is the kingdom
of Kush.
Well, actually, it's not Kush.
It's not Kush.
It's a pre-dynastic kingdom that was called Ta-Seti, right? Or what they refer to as the land of the bow. Now, Egypt as a state, what we consider Egypt, is made up of 42 nomes. What is the first nome of Egypt? The first nome is the area between the first and second cataract, and the nome was called Ta Seti. So from day one of so-called Egypt, that area was a part of Egypt. It was a nome of Egypt, just like how Pennsylvania is a state in the United States, right? So now, how do we double back thousands of years later and say, oh no, that area wasn't Egypt, it was actually Lower Nubia? Which one is it? So now we create this little group of people called Nubians, right? And we have the lower Nubians between the first and second cataract, and the upper Nubians between the second and sixth cataracts, right? Going all the way down to Napata, right? So which one is it? Are those people Nubians or are they Egyptians? If they were Egyptians on day one, why are they excluded from being Egyptians? Now, what the people who buy into the conventional bullshit will tell you is, well, you know, it was a kingdom before Egypt and they had their own culture and they had their own this and that. So that's why they're considered, you know, not Egyptians and their own separate, unique thing. Okay, cool. Were the people in the Delta their own kingdom? Did they have their own unique culture? The answer to both those questions are yes. So why aren't we calling them Deltans or Hyrcanopolians or whatever the fuck and otherizing them? Is it a coincidence that it just so happens to be the people that are the closest to the interior Egyptology creates?
They're the blackest of the black.
Right. It just so happens that the people who are the blackest of the black and are the closest to the interior, we create this Egyptological convention to extricate them out of Egyptianhood, right? And again, the blackologists repeat this bullshit just to show you how slick these crackers is. Even the niggas that's supposed to be on the blackology side fall for that shit. And I really want somebody to answer that question. When we open the panel up, the people who buy into this Nubian bullshit, I want them to explain to me if the area between the first and second cataract was the first nome of Egypt. How are those people not Egyptians and they're this unique group called Nubians? Right? So again, we keep seeing a recurring pattern, and you see it in genetics today. They play the same game, right? They just set up these definitional parameters, right? And they exclude who they want and include who they want. The game is played the same way it was during the what they call it, the racist era, or whatever. Ain't much changed. You know, but that's pretty much what I want to say.
Hey, Haskell,
so could I have my closing statement?
Hold on. That was fire, Haskell. If you could stay right there, I think you got grounds to fight. You feel me? That was fire. Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, Chef, Pan African James is not blocked. He's a
man. He called me, cussing me out, talking about something.
He's a mod.
He called me, cussed me out, talking about somebody blocked him in the chat.
Can you block mods? Because I'm looking in the YouTube studio right now. Because he's somebody definitely I want to hear the opinion from. But I'm looking in the YouTube studio right now. He's a Pan-African Designs and Apparel, right?
Let me close my statement.
Yeah,
let me do my closing
statement. Don't trip off of James. James be tripping.
Okay, go ahead. Let me do my closing statement, and then Haskel can do his. So tonight, I hope that, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a small synopsis of how Stewpeas think and how Haskel think and how we view Egypt. We're not saying that Egypt didn't become a mixed culture, but we're talking about the origins of Egypt. What was it in the beginning and who was a part of it in the beginning? It was no Jericho looking Michael Jackson dude, right? But then, after being brainwashed with 100 years of information from white pseudoscientists, some of the best among us starts to believe the lie. And we have proven that these men, who the foundation of many people's thoughts is grounded upon, are pseudoscientists, racist eugenists, who disregard black people, who did not think that we're intelligent enough to start our own society. Hence, they had no issue cutting us off from Egypt. So, although we were in the first nome 4,000 years ago, we're not today. We're a separate people. And others among us run with that information. No, that is my issue. My issue is, who are you carrying water for? Because in the conscious community, we have a lot of water boys. And they're carrying water for pseudo and don't even recognize it. But have a good night. I'll be listening. I'll also be on the panel.
I'm gonna give Gullah the opportunity to come up by
Yeah,
himself
let Haskel
first.
close and then you go on.
Before he closed, I'm gonna give Gullah the opportunity to come up first. Gullah, the link is in the Discord. Then I'll open it up to the chat. Y'all be patient. This was a walk down, not a rundown.
Hey, Reggie, we gonna need you too, bro.
Yeah. Actually, Reggie, if you check the Discord, you can click that link too. Y'all need to get in the Discord. For all y'all sending me links and check this out and read this and do this, I can't. If you drop it in the Discord, it's easier for me to pull it up. Shouts to Isonic for dropping it for me also. Pause. Damn, Isonic dropped it for me. Pause.
Hey, that just sound crazy.
Yeah, it did sound crazy, right? I just realized, like, you hear something come out you hear something come out, and it's like, yeah, I just said that man dropped it.
Yo, that nigga said thank you to iSonic for dropping it for
me, Lord. I thought I was gonna get through the whole show without a pause. Literally, I couldn't do it, bro. So I'm gonna read something real quick while we waiting on Gullah. So I don't know what this means. I am not an expert. Grow up. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up, bro. Y'all hurry up and grow up. Shit. Growing up is arthritis and all that old ass shit. So Shakir told me to read this. Canaan is nutcases in the world. Our Discord is not separate from the world, so it's not a surprise that there's nutcases in the Discord. And also drop your questions, and I'll start asking them as soon as Gullah is done talking. Let me see. Real quick before you go, Gullah. Now, I don't know why I'm reading this, but Shakir dropped this as a link. The Jebel Sahaba, a succession of violence rather than a prehistoric war. You got to tell me where you want me to read this, but I'll hold on to it and let Gullah go in, because it's only right that he gets the opportunity to speak.
That really don't got anything to do with what I was saying or my point. I heard a lot of lies. I heard a lot of words put my mouth. I didn't say that was my favorite tool. I said one of them.
Let me get you on Front Street. That's right.
I said it was one of my favorite tools. Nigga don't even listen. And plus, if you actually read what I was saying, which they didn't do, they ignored everything. They just looking at pictures like they always do. They fucking paint. I guess they finger paint kids that don't really read or even listen to people talk. When I mentioned this thing wasn't about Nilo-Saharan. I mentioned Nilo-Saharan because I was saying it's a sister group to the Proto-Afroasiatic populations. And Proto-Afroasiatic population, as I put, at the hunter-gatherer stage, they had kinky hair, and some of them had wavy hair in some areas. You had a different diversity in Africa. Everybody wasn't the same in Africa 50,000 years ago, Stewpeas. You had diversity amongst Africans. And I even mentioned that in my presentation when I said you had Cushitic overlap and Nilo-Saharan overlap. And plus, a thing about Carcoon, that's just a piece of what a piece of one of the, of course, Carcoon was racist and pseudoscientific, but in pseudoscience, you also take the pieces that they got right and use it in modern science. And Brad, you do me a favor, could you look up? I'm going to GPT
Yes, sir.
and look up Carcoon, what he got right and what he got wrong,
Okay.
and what they use even today in modern anthropology of his work. Because even a lot of science from early day, of course, come from racist viewpoints, but in the modern time, they take the pieces out that was, you know what I'm saying, formal or data wise, and they use it in the modern time. And it's crazy. He don't even get that. He don't even understand science. And he try to put this jacket on me like I'm some racist ass dude or follow some race. I ain't even but first of all, I'm not part of no fucking conscious community. I'm a regular dude. I'm not part of the clown circus like you, Jamaican clown. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? I love black people. I think this brother have a problem with African Americans anyway. He probably hate African Americans. But anyway, he tried to paint this jacket on me, this smear campaign. This was nothing but propaganda, yo. This whole damn presentation was nothing but propaganda because of hate. You know what I'm saying? To hate on somebody because you don't have the equipment or knowledge to even articulate, you know what I'm saying, people group and migrations.
All right, so I got. Oh, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you. Go in, brother.
Yeah.
I got the thing up, the article up. If you want me to.
And I broke that down. I said, you know what I'm saying, the early, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't even about that little the picture or whatever. The main thing was with the shit I was saying. The picture was just a cartoon or whatever. And some of them early Afro-Asiatic people had mixed features. You had diversity. You had diversity amongst all Africans. And I even broke that down. I didn't show the Niger Congo lineage or the Nilo-Saharan lineage as much because I'm talking about Afro-Asiatic people. That's my whole point. And I ain't talking about, oh, you talk about the inner migrations in Africa. I ain't talking about the whole Africa. I'm talking about Northeast Africa. I'm talking about a certain point in Africa, a certain region. You just want my presentation to be what the hell you want it to be, and they ain't even a damn point. It's a grown ass dummy. But anyway, and even what he was saying, what Haskell was just saying about the, you know what I'm saying, the Tasseti. Tasseti was, yeah, it's the first known, but also too, when Norma took over, you know what I'm saying, and you know, took over the kingdoms or whatever, he took over Tasseti too. Tasseti was independent. If you actually read Christopher Ehret work, which is a colleague of Shomaka Kenyatta, he even writes, even in that book, I don't think these dudes really even read. He even writing his book, you know what I'm saying, that Tasseti was independent at first. And actually Tasseti is a group. They don't even say a group Nubians no more. They say a group. And they were just a group of Cushitic speakers, you know what I'm saying? They probably coalesced with Nilo-Saharan groups too, because they was their neighbors. They mixed because they had to, because even their kingship was sacred kingship. That whole pharaonic you know what I'm saying, kingship shit that come from a tradition that come from Nilo-Saharan, because these people traded off in cultures around the regions. Even if you go through the actual presentation, I always go through, you know what I'm saying, that base group was always there. That's why these dudes don't listen. They listen for a debate until I got your moment and to try to smear somebody and hate and troll. That's their whole fucking motive. You know, Chef heard my presentation. You know what I'm saying? It was smooth and it was on point. Even at the when I said the first base erasers came in, I didn't say no light-skinned dudes came in. I even stressed hard that these wasn't no light or pale-skinned European dudes that first came in that mixed in. The first base erasers was not mixed. They look, even if you look at the people of Socotra, which is an island between Ethiopia and Arabia, you still see them people still host a lot of them base erasing traits. You know what I'm saying, naturally. And they look kind of like, you know what I'm saying, what I said, South Asian populations. You know what I'm saying? They dark skinned, you know what I'm saying, straight to wavy hair or whatever. But they not, you know what I'm saying, they don't have as much Neanderthal, none of that shit in them. You know what I'm saying? They Beige Eurasians. Tropical, you know what I'm saying, tropical people. And even before certain populations moved out of Africa, you like some of them, you know, wavy, straight hair, dark skinned dudes, you know what I'm saying, migrated out too, you know what I'm saying, 50,000 years ago. You had a whole different type of, you know what I'm saying, diversity. You think people in East Africa look like that? It ain't all just from mixing. Some of it is, but you know what I'm saying, it ain't all just totally finesse from local adaptation as well. And I mentioned, you know what I'm saying, dark-skinned Africans. This presentation wasn't about Nilo-Saharan. If I was wanting to get to Nilo-Saharan population, I'd get into that. And plus the boy, my boy Bior, that's my homeboy. He dude got the channel Kush dying. I actually help him with his research. What you talking about? Like these dudes don't even know what the hell I'm be saying, or even my stance. Just want to go over and hate and try to motherfucking kill my character and put some jacket on because they some haters. And they hate African Americans.
You want me to read what's the name or no?
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay.
What are you gonna write and what are you gonna wrong?
Okay.
And that website wasn't just based on Cora Coon. They just used them because like all anthropologists use them. Same way or in archaeology. When you first go into archaeology or whatever, they was digging up shit for the Bible and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But they added on more research for it. A lot of stuff and a lot of early science, even medicine. Shit, that shit was racist as hell at first. But I bet you, guess what? They used the shit that wasn't in the data that was right. They still use it today on your ass when you take your ass to the hospital. I guess we still gonna take the medicine and save your life because it was created by some racist motherfuckers. You would die. That's how cultist these niggas is. It ain't about the motherfucker being racist, about the data. You go read it, bro.
Okay, so Carlton Coon, what he got right, and then I want to get into I am not an expert's questions. He posted them a few times.
Yeah.
Well, I got y'all all up there.
And then too, these dudes, they say pseudo because I guess they from the conscious community, whatever the little circus is. They don't even understand what pseudo even is in scientific term. You know, Ngozi called the first person that called Clyde one a pseudo in the community, and it became like a slang word. You only know the actual word mean. And when you say pseudo could be completely wrong or could be wrong or some things in there that's right. You don't mean it's completely all the way wrong. You can have some things correct and some things wrong. That's what it's called. That's why it's called pseudo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? As if, or, you know what I'm saying? Somewhat. That's why it's called pseudo. Don't even understand the damn word.
Stewpeas, go to the Discord. Because if I drop the link in the chat, everybody gonna come in. I want to let y'all build before I let them.
But yeah, you go ahead and read it now, bro.
Click the link from the Discord, Stewpeas.
Yeah, you see, and then too, even some of the. I'm gonna tell you, look up something else after you go on. And then you yeah, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Let me knock it out for you.
These dudes, it wasn't even no scholarship. This dude it was just a smirk campaign because he's a hater.
Carlton Coon.
He's probably a pedophile, like the rest of his conscious community friends.
Carlton Coon, what he got right? Okay, so what he got right. Humans have regional variation. He's correct. People in different regions can look different. Skull shape, facial features, and body form vary geographically. Variation is real. Fixed races are not. He got right. Well, he got partially right. It says Egypt shows population continuity. It says Nile Valley populations show long-term continuity. Egypt was not constantly replaced by foreigners. Modern genetics confirms continuity with change, but not replacement. Africa matters. Indirectly right. Kuhn acknowledged Africa's centrality to human origins, but he framed it badly.
Now let me stop you right there. My whole presentation, all throughout the presentation, I kept saying each step, there was no population replacement. It just gave the core population variation because they mixing in. These people ain't action figures. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't have much sex, Stewpeas, don't mean ancient humans ain't having sex. They don't get back in a toy box or get back in a box. These ain't action figures. These people meeting up and they having sex with each other. Some you probably don't know about. Go ahead.
Okay, so Carlton Coon, what he got wrong? Race as a biological category, he was wrong. Coon treated race as fixed and biological. Modern science shows race is social, not biological, and humans share 99.9% of their DNA. And that's what Chef doesn't agree with. Just thought
hold on a second, Bryce, hold on a second. No. I don't want him on the show. Kick him off. I don't want him on the show. No. I don't want him on the show. Him insulted me. Kick him off. I want the same thing that I got yesterday. I don't want him on the show.
I apologize, Gullah, but I got to, bro. He's not, once you, I'm just saying, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Once you go there, their show, he did get a chance to read. Let me finish reading his sources.
No. No, I'm not validating anything. Kick him off.
That's the end.
Kick him off now.
He's not here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm not coming. You can read it now.
Reading what he got wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Separate evolution of races. He's flat wrong. He claimed different races evolved independently. This is completely rejected today. I know. And he was waiting to do it. Using skulls to determine population history. Outdated. Skull shape equaling ancestry is not true. Environment can change skull morphology. And then he was incomplete with his timelines. He couldn't account for thousands of years of migration and admixture, and he had no way to model gene flow. So what modern science uses instead is ancient DNA, genome-wide analysis, admixture modeling, interdisciplinary approach. So it says Kuhn got one thing right. Humans vary by region. He got the big things wrong. Race is not biological. Humans didn't evolve separately, and skulls don't tell population history.
Hey, that's crazy. So this was supposed to be his retort to why using Kuhn was viable. And here this source saying he got damn near 99% of his shit wrong.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, essentially.
What's wrong with Jamaicans?
Yo,
like, y'all are the ultimate.
I'm gonna drop the link in the.
Hey, but you know what though, Chef? Honestly, it's not even about trolling because remember, these guys set the standard, right? According to he said it as a matter of fact. He said basically him, Ankh, and Ngozi, they're the ones who created the term pseudo. They're the ones who kind of made it hip in the community. Huh?
You said they created the term pseudo.
Well, they using it as an adjective, right?
Right.
Okay.
Nobody was using pseudo as an adjective in an adjectival form like that until Ngozi, and then Ankh took it up or whatever. But this is how they play the game, Chef. The Jamaicans didn't create that.
Right.
That's them. And when niggas used to get these pseudo sources, niggas they tear their ass up. Pause. Right. So we just carrying on tradition, bruh. You can't bring.
Lord.
We're playing by your rules. We're playing the game by your rules.
You don't want to act like the Yankee boy.
No.
I can't. Yeah, but he's right. I mean, I'm just glad Gullah was able to get his information off. But
I gave him that much.
Hey, listen. Hey, Brass, listen, bruh. Listen, bruh. He got lucky because I'm the good cop, and it just so happened that the bad cop lost his connection, right? So I'm always willing to hear a brother out, and the insults, they don't really bother me like that.
Me neither, man. I just wanted to kick him off.
Yeah, once Hightower came back, it ain't nothing I could do, bro.
Hightower.
You out of
here. Hey, real quick, Reggie, before I go to you, shouts to you, Joel. Shakir been sharing this. Oh, and there was question. I'm gonna let Joel ask his questions in here because he was the one I was gonna take the questions from, and then because Kanan's asking the same question that Joel was asking. Shakir's been dropping this link for me for a while now. Shakir, this is pretty in depth. I'm gonna read as much as I can.
Oh,
but,
yeah, Joel, one of them crazy ass pseudo killers. We got one over here. We gonna beat the hell out of him. Go ahead, read this.
We could jump him real quick. For what they did to the Cold Crush.
Right.
We're gonna make them pay. Saharan remains may be evidence of a first race war 13,000 years ago. The skeletons from the east bank of the Nile in northern Sudan are from victims of the world's oldest known relatively large-scale human armed conflict. I thought that was $1 bill. I say this is not real. But these are two. Okay, so it says arrowhead marks on skeletons suggests the victims were killed by enemy archers. Them damn magi archers strike again. All right, so give me 1 second. Let me add. All right, so Sahara remains. I'm gonna read some of this, Shakir, because you have been patient. Scientists are investigating what may be the oldest identified race war 13,000 years ago after it raged on the fringes of the Sahara. French scientists working in collaboration with the British Museum have been examining dozens of skeletons, a majority of whom appear to have been killed by archers using flint-tipped arrows. The bones from Jebel Sahaba on the east bank of the Nile in northern Sudan are from victims of the world's oldest known relatively large-scale human-armed conflict. I'm going to read these 2 paragraphs, and then y'all got the link in the chat. Over the past 2 years, anthropologists from Bordeaux University have discovered literally dozens of previously undetected arrow impact marks and flint arrowhead fragments on and around the bones of the victims. This is in addition to many arrowheads and impact marks already found embedded in some of the bones during an earlier examination of the skeletons back in the 1960s. The remains, the contents of an entire early cemetery, were found in 1964 by the prominent American archaeologist Fred Windorf.
So hold on, stop
yes,
right
sir.
there. So why, Shakira, why did you share this source? Now, we are familiar with this source. Are you trying to say that this proves that there was a racial difference? Or are you saying that this war was or this conflict or the remains of this conflict proves that the 2 groups were different?
Well, Chef, it says it in the title of the article. It's not him saying it. They're implying that this was a race war. So I'm looking forward to the part in the article that leads them to believe that. What is this based on?
Yeah, so I'm saying we've been through this 6 years ago. You can't prove that this is a race war. You feel me? Like it's not. But go ahead, continue reading.
No, here it is. It says work carried out. I'm starting to feel like a damn Israelite. Y'all keep telling me to read. Work carried out at Liverpool John Moores University, the University of Alaska, and New Orleans Tulane University indicates that they were part of the general sub-Saharan originating population, the ancestors of modern Black Africans. The identity of their killers is, however, less easy to determine, but it is conceivable that they were people from a totally different racial and ethnic group, part of a North African, Levantine, European people who lived around much of the Mediterranean basin.
So you got to go to where this came from.
Yeah, he took one to the head.
So what source did this come from?
What do you mean?
Meaning this is a .com, right? This is a news.
This is independent.co.uk. So this is science archaeology. So it's UK news.
Right. So you got to go to the study that this came from.
Okay. All right. Well,
but I don't think it's going there.
Yeah, I'm not doing all of that.
Can I say a few points?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
No, before you go, let me ask Reggie a question. Reggie, did you listen to the presentation? And how do you think it performed?
No, I haven't. And one of the ways in which I do is I usually take the YouTube video, take the transcript, and then I run it into ChatGPT or some other AI and get some basic points on it. So I wasn't able to do that because it seems like you guys don't have the transcript enabled. And so when I check for the transcript and more of the, I don't see it. So I would have to download the article.
I can get you the transcript if you want it tomorrow.
Okay, that would be fine.
Okay.
So no Stewpeas. I didn't see it, but I cursory looked at it, and I had ran Gullah's another presentation of Gullah's through ChatGPT, and what I found was that
somebody got to mute out.
What I found was more than 90% of what Gullah was saying in his previous transcript matched up, and it was really, really good. This one I didn't get the transcript, but it would be supplied, and then I could run it through a couple of engines. But my cursory is basically um, was a cursory. I mean, when I cursory looked at it, um, what it is that okay, when you source something, you're not arguing with Gullah. You're arguing with Gullah's source. So that's why it's important to have. And I know this is preliminary for this kind of conversation, which is kind of a peer review. But when there's loaded stuff like likely light skin or likely curly hair and stuff like that, I need to see a source from where that's coming from because obviously Gullah pulled it from I don't know, it says Al Jazeez, right? So I would argue first not with Gullah. I would argue with Gullah's sources with another source, right? Because nothing is finalized. Nothing is finalized because there's debates in anthropology all the time, and there's debates now with DNA studies. So cursory, that was just his information that he was putting out. I don't agree with some of the loaded terms, but I would know more if I had the source, the exact source of where he got it from, and then I still wouldn't argue with Gullah. I would argue where Gullah got the source from, right? And I think that's a better way to the middle ground.
No, but I need to tell you this. I don't play middle ground. If you bring a gun to a knife fight, and your gun stick, you brought a gun to a knife fight. You bought a defective gun to a knife fight. I'm not arguing with a gun. I'm arguing with who brought the gun to the knife fight. I had a cutlass and he claimed he had a gun, but his gun stuck because his source was pseudo that he developed his argument based on.
Okay.
Right? So therefore, when people bring bad sources, don't excuse them.
No, well, I'm not completely excusing it because I think that in this time period where people are and they have tools to use, you should make you're it's problematic if you don't source what you say. So then for that part, yes, it goes on Gullah because Gullah would have to source everything that he says um, to free himself of the burden of this gunfight that's going on, right?
Right.
But
You want to bring an effective gun to the fight
right.
and then bring the gun. You brought the gun.
Now Gullah, now again, I'm skeptical of Gullah, right? Skeptical of Ngozi, right? I am skeptical, but I was so surprised that I ran it through two search engines and Gullah's other presentation that he did. I forgot where he did it. DMG, DMG's book was very very good. Here, this one is kind of lacking direct resources, which burdens Gullah, right? And because there are a lot of loaded stuff. I wanted to talk about the Shabelle Shahaba, and Chef is absolutely right. I don't know who brought this up years ago, but anytime that you use or there's an anachronistic use of race, then that's just to sell papers. That's the pseudo. How can I say that's the pseudo commercial stuff? It sounds exciting. I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna buy this article, or I'm gonna subscribe because it seems interesting. There's no skeletal remain DNA, right? So that article is race, talking about race at this time period. Well, you need writing. You need writing to tell you how people felt about each other. If there is none of that and then there's no DNA, then I would just say this is some type of binary article of sub-Saharan versus North African, and I would discard that because I would have to go to the paper.
He said he was showing it to show that it was phenotypic diversity amongst the groups.
Okay, so if he was showing it that, but then at the same time, the question goes back, the same analysis that I'm using with Gullah, with the gunfight and the knife fight, is that don't show us like a New York Post Daily News article, right? Because it's going to cause some problems. You have to show the exact study. So you would read the article to find out what did the actual scientists actually say, and if they're scientists, they can't. I would heavily weigh them against using concepts of arrays, which is outdated. So the first thing is, once you see race war, then you just say that, okay, these people are bat crazy, because race is not something that we talk about even in
So do you ignore it? Hold on. So do you ignore does phenotype tell you something?
Y'all doing this on purpose, man.
Hold on. Do we supposed to ignore it?
Well, ignore what are we ignoring? We don't have the scientific study to say.
No, I'm saying if the skeletal remains shows phenotypes and diverse groups, do you supposed to ignore that because of the old implications of race? Do you not acknowledge that these people had phenotypic differences between?
All right, then I would.
We got a lot of people on the panel. There's like 9 people.
I'm sorry.
We could do that.
I'll just answer it like this. Being Brother Reggie, I gave you a whole presentation on Kleins.
Right? I agree, and I love that. That was a good one.
Okay.
I actually used that. I used that. Okay. I actually used that terminology.
All right.
More now. You added that to my lexicon. I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Joel. Get your questions off. And then Reggie, don't leave, because I'm sure I just want to give everybody at least a chance to speak.
Peace to the Tribe Media family, man. I see y'all doing y'all thing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, check this out. I think the other guys are still on here. Mm-hmm. So my 3 questions was, the first one is,
what's up, Joe?
What's up, Pseudo Killer Official? What's happening with you, bro?
Come on, we ain't got time.
First thing I want, I had to give my man a pound. You know what I'm saying? All right, so it's the first thing I wanted to ask the 2 guys who did the show tonight, because I was here for the whole thing. Mm-hmm. What do you think about DNA? Do you agree with DNA?
That's to Haskell and
when it comes to paternity, we do.
No, that's not me and you. That's Haskell and
Chef. Yeah, I ain't here, Chef. You weren't presenting.
All right. Right. I believe in DNA, but the problem is that if we go back and we look at what the study in Egypt, if we go back to a certain time period, there is not much DNA research that was done. If we come forward to a more modern Egypt before the 25th, when the Greeks were there, all of that, you have a lot of DNA. But if you go back to the origins, you don't have any DNA. But we cannot make the assumption based upon the DNA that they have research that this was Egypt throughout the time. My problem is not that Egypt becomes what it is today, but I'm going all the way back to Nama and the establishment of Egypt, and they don't have any DNA for that time period.
Okay, let me get in with you. All right, let me get in with you, because I do want to ask you another question on top of that, because you.
Let Haskell answer first too.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Haskell. Do you believe in DNA?
Yes, certainly, but they manipulate a lot of these DNA. Because the thing is, the way how your premise always got to make sense, right? You can manipulate data to tell any story that you want. You could slice the cheese whichever way you choose to. A perfect example is the often contested, the controversial Shunaman study, right? The Abu Sir el-Malek study, where they were able to fully sequence those 3 mummies from that Roman cemetery, right? And in that study, they said that a certain amount of sub-Saharan DNA increased in the modern time and blah, 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 right? And when you go into the particulars, you go into the supplemental information, you find out that the proxy that they used to represent so-called sub-Saharan DNA was a Yoruban panel. Now, you tell me, if you're studying a Nile Valley group the sub-Saharan quote unquote populations that you'd be looking at wouldn't be in fucking West Africa, right? So that just shows you is that there's a, you know, there was a disingenuousness there, and that they were cooking the books. And that's the thing that I always try to drive home in these discussions, because I think in a lot of these circles, a lot of us believe in the purity of these scientists. We don't believe that they have agendas, right?
Racist agenda.
Hey, could someone respond? Can someone respond?
Hold up 1 second. I got to follow up because so Haskell is pretty much like, I'm not so sure I believe it. Stewpeas is like, yeah, okay, but they got Roman and they don't have old stuff. Hey, what about the new Wat man? Do you know what time period he was from, Stewpeas?
No.
Old Kingdom.
He's from the Old Kingdom.
Hey, Stewpeas, do you like the Old Kingdom? Is that far enough back for you?
Old Kingdom is what time period? All right, get to your point, because I don't play.
I can't get to a point until you answer my question.
No.
Okay with the Old Kingdom?
The pseudo way of the conscious community way of conducting things, I don't do it that way.
Okay,
when I
that's fine.
put my choice up young in advance, so who can dispute it? Just like when I put as according to the pseudo people, I did that hours before the show started.
All right. So my only point for bringing this up is because so one of the points that Gullah made was that these people have been mixing for a long time, and that was one of the other questions that I had. You know, like do y'all agree with the fact that people been coming in and out of there for a very long time? I'm talking about so long ago that there was no such thing in anybody's imagination of a goddamn going Egypt, Kemet, or none of that stuff. Do y'all agree with that? That they've been mixing for the past 10, 20,000 years. Do y'all agree?
I agree. I agree that no, I said it earlier. I agree that back migration occurred. But what I'm saying is that there was an established population there. And if you want to say, no. If you're saying that people have been mixing for thousands of years, I agree with that. Right? Okay. But also a population was there. Those people came in. Because my fundamental beliefs is that most of the mixing occur after the Old Kingdom. You might have mixing occur during the Old Kingdom, yes, because people was migrating, but not to the extent of many persons who want to put it. But they will tell you that because, and then we'll talk about Egypt and the Old Kingdom, right? Because if you find somebody up in the Delta, let's be honest, you'll have heavier mixes up in the Delta. But if you come further south, geographically south, you won't have that level of mixing. So let me finish. No, we're going to decide who is Egypt and where is Egypt, because that is important. Because some people tell you that Egypt is Luxor, right? Because that's where the pyramids are in that vicinity. They won't tell you where Egypt is. So when they mix in that area during the establishment of that place, they say, okay, this must be all of Egypt. And then they delete Egypt first known.
The pyramids.
Because I know they're gonna want me to stop. So let me say this last thing.
Somebody stop.
What happens when people mix? So one example I always use is the African American, right? The African American range from, oh my goodness, man, we got such a wide variety of skin color that it's not funny, because this is what we fighting about. We fighting about skin tone, right? And so some people want to make them look like me. You know, I got bitumen on me, and then some people don't want them to look like a goddamn Mariah Carey. You know, they say, oh, well, that's not a real Egyptian. Come on, man. At some point, we've got to recognize that people mix, right? They mix, and you're going to have a wide range. We got to let that go. These are Northeast Africans Period.
Joel? What's your question, Joel?
My question's been answered. I'm done.
No,
I'm done.
and
Go ahead
then he made a
and let
statement
him go. Let him go.
because
We gotta go in order.
Yeah. Because what he's saying is that I understand there is mixing, but nobody wants to say that there was an established occupation of people, even while the mixing was taking place. And the mixing in the earlier of the days wasn't to that large number that would have significantly altered the original population. If we look at population dynamics, no, where Egypt start, that's a problem. Because
10,000
what
years,
kind of mixing was happening there? But I finish. You win. You're right. They were not people.
Go ahead, Chef.
Oh no, I'm who was next? Street Sufi? No? Okay.
All right, don't nobody want to go. Let me just say this to Stewpeas.
Am I here?
Come on, go ahead.
No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
We can't hear you. Yeah, mixing was occurring. I admit to that. What you want to say? That the mixing was so much that.
Yeah, we could hear you. We could hear you, Street Sufi. Go, let him go, Stupid. Let Street Sufi go.
Look, I swear to God, bro, this stuff is not complicated at all. Wallahi, it's not. It's not complicated. Look, you use the available data. The brother brought up the 3 mummy heads that they fully reconstructed with the full genome. 5 to 15% of the DNA segments was motor. They did not neglect that out. They didn't leave that out. Motor is ancestral Northeast African. So that was indigenous. The other half was linked to populations in the Neolithic Levant, right? But there was a later addition of Eurasian that was shifted because this is a later phase. This is not the Old Kingdom phase. The Old Kingdom phase, based off the Nuret, he was Neolithic North African. Neolithic North Africans was connected to Neolithic Libertines. If you look it up, you can look up the proxy. If you look at the Ibero-Maurutians, who was in North Africa 15,000 years ago from the Tupper route, which further, they're 60% Zutzana West Asian, right? Now, hold on. Let me finish.
No, real quick.
Yeah, hold on. I want to finish. I want to drive it home. You are correct. My brother, when you said they use the Yoruba, you can't use the Yoruba as a proxy, but the 8% increase that they only have do come from Western Central Africans from the trans-Saharan slave trade. That matches with populations from that Central Western African layer. The older layer of deep ancestral sub-Saharan layer that was 5 to 15% was Motor, right? Now, Chef, I sent you an article on the revision of that Jebel Sahaba thing from 2021. So we got all that. Look, the people that you see there now, regardless of what they look like in skin tone, they match the populations that's there now. The DNA is consistent. Nobody's being negligent of the ancestral Northeast African layer, those signals that was there. Nobody's even being negligent of the Chakahori layer that was there, which is the ancestral Sahara layer, right? People are being negligent when they act like the other layers were not there, and it's been there for a very long time. It's been consistent. Just look at read the data.
Hey, Street Sufi, your Bassem Youssefs, your Zahi Hawasses, I forget the other guy that's a part of the Egyptian antiquities. Them dudes are Johnny come latelys. They're Turks. That was not no 30,000, 20,000. That's bullshit.
Zahi Hawass, have you looked at his origin? Have you looked up his origin before we speak?
Zahi Hawass is a Turk.
I'm saying, do you have proof of that? That's what I'm asking you. You're just saying that because he looked like something. I'm saying you have proof of that. That's all I'm asking.
Listen, we like to play the whole lookership game, right? But check this out. Hold on. Let me answer you. You asked me a question. Give me a chance to answer your question, right?
Go ahead, my brother.
Everybody like to act like they're so high-minded, right? But if
nobody's
a nigga like me,
we all students of life. None of us are high-minded.
Hold on, brother. I'm talking.
I'm high-minded. I admit it.
Yeah, I'm speaking though. If a nigga like me came up to you or Unc and said that I'm a Native American, you're not gonna ask for no DNA. You're gonna laugh in my fucking face, right? Based on what? Based on what I look like.
So what do I look like? What do I look like? What do I look like in my? You see the image of me, right? What would you say I look like?
Saharian Egyptian.
Would you say that I'm? Even though me and you are classified as black, don't you think I'm black? I mean, look at me. That's like, what's the difference? What do you mean?
Classify you. I put you in a racially ambiguous category. That's where I put
So
that's a Somalian. He's Somalian.
See, that's what
that's a problem, though, brother. Because
he's
here's
a Somalian Negro.
Here's the thing. Now, this is what I mean
You're
by
a
the
Somalian
psychosis. This is
Negro.
what I mean. This is what I mean by the psychosis of the conscious community. No, I'm not gonna label. No, listen, brother. Hold on, listen, brother. Listen. This is what I mean by. Listen, let me finish, sweet peach. Listen, King. This is what I mean by the psychosis of the people in the community. This is not an insult to my brother or nobody, but you can tell there's a blackology undertone. If you don't look a certain way, you're not African enough. So this brother said I would be racially ambiguous. So because I have specific features or certain features, I'm not black or considered black. I got to be racially ambiguous. No, bro.
let me answer your question, right?
What are you? What your DNA say you are? Because you did the DNA.
I'm a nigga, bro.
No, what your DNA say you are? No, you did your DNA. You're such a you believe in DNA. What did your DNA say you are?
I'm a nigga, bro.
Of course, because of course. You call yourself that, I'll agree. But no, tell me what your DNA said you are. What percentage you are?
It says a nigga from Chicago. I'm a nigga.
the cat that's funny as EPO Mexican is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh no. Not but sweet pea. Me and you are the same. We both black people, right? But I'm saying,
of course. I'll never take that away from you. I'll never deny you that. But the DNA, I call people Negropean. That people in here don't like it. But I said that all of us are Negropeans because we are black and we're heavily influenced culturally by the European, and then we might be significantly influenced genetically by the Europeans, 20 to 25%. But culturally and genetically, we have so much European in us that I use the terminology Negropeans, and nobody near like it.
What I'm trying to say is that in Africa, there's much diversity. And we have to understand something. A starting point starts with your age and phenotype morphologically. So a lot of the things that we're labeling as non-African is really African in specific regions. So what I mean is that morphologically, this phenotype that derived with populations that classified as Levantines, it starts its shift between the Egyptian area anyway, in North Africa anyway. It's been consistent since populations drifted away. So this is part of African diversity, even amongst us as Western Central Africans. Everybody in Western Central Africa don't look the same. You can have two Yoruba brothers. One Yoruba brother may look a little like a Fulani. The other Yoruba brother might look like Burna Boy. You go into...
Okay, all right. Let me ask you this question then. Let me ask you for my own clarification. Did those Egyptians that came from where Nema came from, were they Levantine base?
Yeah, the population that established dynastic period, from what it's looking like, yes, they were highly filtered with Levantine signatures from the start. Yes, but it was a specific type, Epipaleolithic or late Pleistocene Levantine signals that back migrated a very long time ago. It had adjusted in those areas. It's been there. It's been consistent. So yeah, they were those
and they were the majority in those areas. That's what you're saying.
And that's what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No,
from what it looks like.
Used a term. He used the term signals, Stewpeas.
Yeah,
right?
I know. So, I'm hearing it.
Hold on. Hold on. Remember, a signal could be something as simple as a uniparental a marker, like a Y-DNA or a DNA, which he even admits is considerably less than even 1% of a person's genome. So that's how they play the sleight of hand game with this whole. Hold on.
That's what they're doing. I see what they're doing.
So hold on. Ask you a question. So I don't want to just base it off.
Hold on, Sufi. This is how they play the sleight of hand game with the whole genetics thing, right?
Yeah.
You could take some nebulous signal, whatever that means, and say, well, this signal has been here and this signal has been here. They did it with the Neurotic Man study, right? A Neolithic Moroccan. What the fuck is that, right?
I can explain what that is. I can explain what that is. I can explain what Neolithic Moroccan is.
Hold on. I'll tell you what it is. It's whatever they statistically modeled it to be, right? It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any tangible real world application to where someone who's a regular human being can conceptualize it, right? It's a statistical model. So the thing with statistical models is they're based on the definitional parameters that you set up. So if you use a group as an in group and all the in groups that you use are basically Eurasian, the computer has no choice but to use out of the groups that you already pre-selected, right? And these are the games.
But this brother's intelligent. He understands how models work. I like how you understand how models work, but I want to respond to you.
Yeah, the model works based on the definitional parameters that whoever is creating the model sets up. Like I could literally, if I understood how to do genetics on the level that those guys do, doing Bayesian mathematics and all of that sort of stuff, right? And I took that same sample set, and then the only people that I used to compare it to was Motorman, Takakori, what's that shit down south? I think that's Skirat Man. If I just use all niggas, right? The computer is gonna put me with some niggas. If I took the same sample set, right, and then I told the computer, hey, choose out of Ching Wang and Li Wang who this sample most closely represents. Guess who's gonna choose? One of them Asian motherfuckers. So a motherfucker could play games with them genetics, dog, and niggas see through that shit.
But here's the thing, though. Regardless of me disagreeing with him because he has his bias, but this man is intelligent because he understands how models work. He understands how proxies work and certain groups is used in these PCAs. But here's the thing. The signals that they found, it's just not little haplogroups with the sex chromosome. It's also the overall DNA composition. They're using higher resolutions like V6s, V7s, and different to give a better explanation of what's being used. What's rejected won't be used. But here's the thing. From the population that's been used, it matches more with populations that's labeled as non-African than populations that would be within internal deeper into Africa.
Now I need a source for that.
So all you have to
now I need a source for that.
Okay, listen. Let me give you
Reggie, he is right. But again, in the PCAs, they only compared it to non-African groups.
No, but
they excluded the African groups in their comparison.
Hold on, listen. Hold on. They did try to use.
Jump in when you can. Jump because
they did try to use. Listen. If you look at the supplements, the supplementaries, they tried to use certain sub-Saharan population. It didn't fall in niche, bro. Look it up. Look up the Nature. Look up the Nature article. Go into the supplement series and look at all of the populations and proxies that was used in there. They even went into the bone structure of the dude. He didn't match. And the only people that he did match, they said he was similar to African Americans, which is sub-to-ab-mixed Africans. That's what we are. Or other things that classify them as African hybrids. That's what they use. Look at the supplementary and see what it says. So what I'm saying is these people were deeply mixed, bro. And it's been consistent for a long time, man. That's all I'm saying.
What do you mean? Say that again, Ngozi. They actually used African Americans for proxy. And they measured it with Europeans, and they said the Egyptians will be more closely
the African Americans
right now, but nobody actually reads the supplement information.
You got to read it.
Let me say this: I never have an over reliance on genetics because I clearly understand the position of genetics. Genetics is not the whole piece; it is a piece of the piece, right? So I would like to know from Stewpeas, right? Why and Peter, why in the hell are y'all fighting like this? Like the new up-to-date information in all the journals, in all the Wikipedia, the basic information already says that it's over with. I never understand why Reggie fight, and I'm sure as hell not understanding why y'all went this hard. It's already clear now. The picture has been clear. They got 50 years of going over the data that they first presented.
I can tell you why.
Reggie, I'm not talking to you, Reg. Come on, Reg.
Mention me.
Let me finish my point. I can mention you and let me get my. I've been waiting an hour. A whole hour. I heard your whole conversation. I heard Ngozi whole conversation.
You wasn't in the chat.
I just want my 2 seconds. I was sitting right here. Matter of fact, let me shut up. It's all
no,
great.
Go ahead, Uncle. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
All right. This no.
Go ahead,
Go ahead, Reggie.
No. All right. Let me answer. Let me partially answer why I fought. I fought because somebody used pseudoscientists to defend the information. Right? It wasn't about the information itself. It was about the tool that they use. So they brought pseudoscientists. They brought people who dislike black people, racists, into the conversation about Egypt, and they used their opinion to formulate the conversation. That's why I fought.
Which part was that? And I heard you too, Brass. And how you doing, Brass? But let you know, I heard you. Go ahead, Stewpeas.
What part was that? What part was that? No, I presented it. The web page that he used, the web page that he was using, the information they relied on primarily came from pseudos.
Which one? The phenotype website?
Yes.
Oh, that's not like a scientific website, though, bro.
Oh, beautiful. You even make it work. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wait.
Let's establish this.
You know what they call that? You know what they call that, Brad? That's called friendly fire. The nigga Unc just clapped his mans, dog. Just clapped him up.
I thought I made it clear.
I'm dropping down and let somebody else up. Good night, y'all.
I'm not agreeing.
All right, Joe.
My man.
Yeah,
don't
good night.
Conversation with nobody's conversation. I can handle my own conversation and stand on my own weight. Yeah. So do not classify me with nobody, not Ngozi, not Gullah, not Shefford, not nobody, not Reggie, not nobody. Let me die on my own. Because I'm standing there in the middle of the damn desert, and I got my AK and I got my books. I'm right here. So I'm not, don't put me with nobody. I know where DNA fit. I've asked 30 experts. I've talked to them for hours. I know where the place of it is. I don't have an over-reliance in that. Right? I know what history plays, what role it plays. I don't have an over-reliance with that. I know how to put a picture together. I understand that sub-Saharan Africa is very, very diverse, to the point where y'all would actually go to sub-Saharan Africa and swear you were somewhere else. So I get the picture. I'm simply saying what I'm not understanding from y'all gentlemen is that y'all already won. Like all you got to do is change your language and change your understanding. Nobody in academic is in the museums. They are indigenous Africans. Egyptians can have dark skin. It's right on the daggone article. You be hard pressed to figure out the difference between a Nubian and an Egyptian in the damn article. When you look at their that's not a big deal. And they
no, break that down. Break that down. I don't understand that. No. I needed to break that down. I cannot distinguish the difference between a Nubian.
Hey, by the way,
it's depending on the particular tribe.
Hold on.
No. Break that down.
Hold on, Stewpeas. Because hold on, y'all. Because this goes back to the question I asked earlier. And I want some people, I want Reggie, Ankh, and I want Street Sufi to weigh in on this, right? Now, let's go into the whole Nubian canard, right? Far as I know, there was no Egypt until Narmer unified these disparate polities along the Nile. Everybody is in agreement on that, right?
No.
That's where, quote unquote.
Yo said no. No. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree. But go ahead.
Right. That's for the sake of argument. According to conventional Egyptology, Egypt starts with Narmer's unification. Boom. Beautiful. We start right there. Now, prior to that, there were separate kingdoms and polities all along the Nile that basically had their own agency, right? Yeah. He ran down on some niggas in Tasseti. He ran up north, ran down on them, whooped them, blah, 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 and he consolidated all that shit, right? That's a general story. My question is this. If Tasseti, which is the area between the first and second cataract, which they also refer to as Nubian A, right? If that was a part of the incorporation, a part of the consolidation from day one, and it's the first nome of Egypt, why was it extricated out of Egypt and otherized as Nubian? Which one is it? Is that area a part of Egypt on day one, or is it its own separate thing?
Okay, let me answer that. Okay. The known numbers or a Egyptological convention. So making Tasseti the first known is problematic. I need a source that says from the Egyptians, the so-called Egyptians, that that's the
Smash
first.
said that. That's what Smash says.
Right. So but we do know that was a border, a kind of a border region, right? Tasseti was a border region, and at that particular time period, it seemed that Egypt claimed it or was inhabited. Now, when you get to Tasseti, then that messes up the problem with your concept of what was Egypt. Again, it's a Egyptological convention. We know that that they can say this culture inhabited it, but to say that it belonged to Egypt, then the problem is we have to look at what convention that they are using at that time period, because this is Tasseti is actually in the pre-dynastic phase. It's not in the phase of what you call Egyptologists call proper Egypt with Narmer. Tasseti is a group closely probably related to the Naqada time period rather than what you call dynastic Egypt.
Yes, but Reggie, at the beginning of dynastic Egypt, they subjugated that area. It was brought under the control of that polity. The polity headed by Narmer and then subsequently by his son, Aha. That's what that happened.
No, I don't.
Right. So let me give you an example, right? If you take the United States, right? It works the same way pretty much anywhere. The United States, prior to the Louisiana Purchase, Louisiana and all them a lot of those Western territories was not a part of quote unquote America, right?
French and Spanish. Prior.
Right. Once they purchased it, now it's a part of America, right?
Puerto Rico, Hawaii.
Right. So that's how it always works. No piece of land is anything until a set of humans claim dominion over it and say this piece of land is this. Right. Right.
I don't disagree with it, but Tasseti was before this happened.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. At a point in time, Tasseti was its own.
That don't make sense because so was the other cities.
Exactly.
The other cities.
Exactly.
City-states,
right. Thank you, Chef.
So
and that's the point.
Separate
right
Tasseti out of what game is you playing?
And that's the point that I'm making. And that's the point that I'm making to Reggie, that even the blackologists have fell for this shit. Because if you look at what we call Greece, if you look at what we call what anthropologists refer to as Greece, right, or the Hellenic.
Hold on, Haskell. What he's saying is, y'all, that they particularly single out Tasseti, right, and try to separate Nubians from Egypt, like it's something different. But he's saying at the beginning, how would you know it's a difference if these archaeologists and Egyptologists wouldn't play that game? He's saying if Tasseti was a part of Egypt from the beginning of the unification, why even play them games? Because the people in the Delta had a different culture. Do you separate them from, you dig what I'm saying? Okay. So he's saying they're deliberately doing that, right? For what they deeming as Nubia.
They deliberately doing what though?
Separating it out.
And I'm saying that ain't what they doing. And I'm saying I don't agree with Haskell of no damn Narmer conquering no daggone Tasseti. That's speculative. What? Right. Ain't no what? Go get me a source. Go get me a documented archaeology. No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's the general reading of Egyptian history.
No, it's not. So
So
we
you
can't believe
disagree with
everything.
that?
I'm saying that the Egyptians say what they want to say out their mouth. That doesn't mean it's
So you're not
archaeological.
even going to believe the Egyptians?
No, I'm saying that the Egyptians said they beat the Hittites. And the Hittites say they beat the Egyptians. I'm saying it's royal, what's the propaganda? I'm saying that there's no archaeological evidence that clearly states that Tar Seti was conquered by Nam. And I'm saying that you could actually study Nubia and never ever go to Nubia right in Egypt, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying I can verify that and I can back that up. And
But
that
when
don't make
has
them
this
black.
became part of? So hold on, I've never heard none of y'all disagree.
Yeah,
with
I've
this
never
position.
heard this part of it
So this is-
disputed. This is
okay.
brand new
So
information
now
for
y'all
me.
just arguing because
Wait a
Haskell
minute.
saying it?
Hold on, bro. Hold on. That's what I'm saying. Knock it off. I've been saying the same thing. Don't make people get the video.
About Nubia. Hold on. Y'all been saying basically what Haskell been saying right now. He's repeating damn near what y'all been saying. So now
what? Hold on, repeating what?
So
Repeating
maybe
what?
it's not clear. Hold on. That the Nubians in Tar Seti was Egypt. Man, you had this argument.
What you mean was Egypt? I'm saying that Tar Seti isn't Egypt.
Right, and a part of the Egyptian
And
joint,
I'm saying it wasn't.
All right, so let me. Hey, Chef.
It just was
Hey,
another.
Chef.
I'm not doing this.
Chef, let me get.
So
Let me.
you don't understand.
Let
It's
me
different.
have.
Hold on. You don't understand. It's different polities. Wait a
Let me
minute.
have the Let me have the conversation with him. Let me have the conversation with him.
Hey, hold on, Haskell, real quick. Can I'm gonna ask y'all for a favor. Can Gullah come back up, bro?
Hey, that's on Stewpeas. That's his call.
Y'all not letting Gullah up?
She's saying Stewpeas.
No, we're not letting him up. Yesterday he kicked us out of his podcast.
I want to quickly address.
Yesterday he kicked us out of his podcast. Fair game.
Yes. Yeah, Melvin, stick a pin real quick, Melvin. Hold on, Melvin.
No, it's addressing that point.
No, I know, but let me hear out Ankh first because he's cluing me into a new paradigm
and what
that
about
I
Reggie?
wasn't.
And what about Reggie? Because I'm so nice.
Yeah, hold on, Reg. We gonna go one at a time.
Govern yourselves to a bit though.
Yeah, we're gonna go one at a time.
I'm out of it.
So, Brother Ankh just clued me into a completely new paradigm that previously I wasn't aware of. Right. All right. So let's go back from the beginning. Now, I want to ask Ankh, from his perspective and what he's read, what areas constitute Egypt and what particular act, whether it be an act of war, an act of peaceful consolidation, what constitutes what they called Tawi at that time?
So you're talking about what is the two lands? There wasn't no two lands
yet.
There wasn't no two lands yet. Well, I don't know what Reggie talking about. There wasn't no Egypt yet.
No, I'm saying post. Or when did it become two lands? Was it post Narmer? When did that occur?
The Upper Egyptians had to go conquer Lower Egypt. They had two distinct.
Where is? Hold on. And geographically, how are we defining Lower Egypt from Saqqara to the First Cataract?
No. Lower Egypt starts at Cairo.
No, I said Upper Egypt. How are we defining Upper Egypt? From Saqqara or from Memphis to the First Cataract? Geographically, how are you defining Upper Egypt? Hold on. Let me and Ankh do this real quick. How do you define Upper Egypt, Ankh, geographically?
First of all, I say there's modern borders and then there's ancient borders.
I'm saying at that time, the ancient borders. How are we defining it?
It's actually hard to define. Because it's not as simple as we sitting here making it. And that's the real point. That's the real problem that I bet y'all couldn't go to an archaeological site and separate the Nubian shit from the Egyptian shit. You would fail. I'm telling you, like you would absolutely fail. And they don't even play that game like that no more. They understand the policies. They understand the different Nubian tribes. They never say that the Egyptians are overpowered. They don't even say that no more. Like, we can't keep carrying the baggage with us. That's not what they're saying.
But Ankh is still not answering my question.
I thought
do you believe in do you subscribe to the concept of there at some point being what we call today an Egyptian state, where previously where previously disparate polities were consolidated into a state. Do you subscribe to that or no?
Yeah, but the problem is the
okay,
people.
Beautiful. Wait. Geographically circumscribe those polities for me. Put some sort of definition on it.
Okay, well, the damn old kingdom is like a daggone Sudan transplant. And so the up Egyptians is ethnically the daggone Nubians.
No,
like they ethnically similar.
He's asking for geographical borders. He not ethnic diversity.
I just wanted to hip you to that while you fight.
No, we know all of that. We don't want it. We don't need a lecture, right? I'm asking you a pointed question. You agree that you said we're not talking about the modern borders. I can't be any more clearer.
No, I said
I'm asking you the question that I asked you was at some point was there formed a state? A state is comprised of multiple. Hold on. A state is comprised of multiple ethnicities, right? Under a central authority. That is the definition. That is the political definition of a state, right? And you agreed that at some point in time, whether it be Narmer, whether it be Aha, or whoever the fuck, they consolidated a geographic area under a central authority. And I'm asking you to your best ability.
And I say, yeah.
Circumscribe that geographic region. Is it from Memphis, far as Upper Egypt? Is that roughly from Memphis to the First Cataract? Give me the geographical, do that for me, please.
And I'm saying it's not as simple as you just made that. I'm trying to
my God, this guy's exasperating.
No, I'm saying you're trying to make something that is not clear, bro. And I think that's a great answer. Now, if you want me to lie to you, yeah, the First Cataract. And I'm saying that's not how it was on the land, bro. It's hard. It's what I'm trying to show you. Now, how's that not an answer? It's not the answer you want to hear. You the one want the total separation. That's not exactly how they seen it on the land.
So there was no Egyptian state then.
No,
if it can be
right, but I'm trying to make the point. It can be an Egyptian state, but by the time you get to Aswan, what they're calling the first known Tar Seti, that there might not be a clear division there. That's all I'm saying, bro. That don't mean because it's not a clear division between what you calling Tar Seti that all of a sudden it's no longer an Egyptian state. That doesn't mean that.
No, my point is that it was part of the Egyptian state from the beginning.
All right.
That's my argument.
Okay.
But
right, that's fine. But it's actually Nubia.
There was no but Nubia is anachronistic. There is no Nubia in ancient times. You won't find any.
But you get the point, though, don't you?
I don't.
Whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call that, right?
No, there is no whatever. Listen.
What is the state of Nubia at 3100 BC?
They say they come to power with 2500 BCE, don't they?
That's Kush. That's Kush. You're conflating Nubia with Kush.
No, they don't have a Nubian state. I'm saying Kerma is 2500 BCE. Egypt is 3000 BCE. Oh, well, that's all it is. So there's no Nubian state. I don't know. I guess you just threw that in there like that.
No, you did that.
Hold on. Stop. Let Reggie take a crack at it. Maybe.
Hold on.
Reggie got a better command of it.
Let Mel get his.
My bad, Mel.
Yeah. I wanted to address the first known thing that Haskell was saying. Why did they place it in the Memphite area? The thing you got to understand, gnomes are purely administrative. That particular region, prior to them even setting up the first gnome there were plenty of cults there. And they handle anything from cattle to irrigation. It's like the middle of where all the land and river trades would be at. So it's prime real estate for administration, where they can set it up as a tax city. They can set up religion, Ptah being the focal god in that region. So it wasn't just because because they were trying to keep it cool with the Nubian area. It's simply because it was hot territory. And, you know, as a ruler, you want to make sure you can set up capitals in the area and you can benefit off of them. And so it was just one of those main areas. So it's the reason why you set up a nome is strictly for administrative and religious purposes. That's it.
Beautiful. Now, when you set up a nome, hold on. So the question for you, Mel, is, being that it is a nome, and far as I know, what comprises the state are the 42 nomes. So is that first nome a part of the so-called Egyptian state? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
I would say no, because the process was a gradual process, and that happened during the Middle Kingdom. And I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna say it again. That was a gradual process, and that did not get complete until the Middle Kingdom. That's my stance.
So what you're saying, Ankh, is that the area of Tasseti retained a degree of autonomy, all the way from the first dynasty all the way up till around the 11th or 12th dynasty. That's your position.
And I'm gonna stand on that.
Okay, beautiful. At least you've took a position. Congratulations.
But I was trying to tell you, it wasn't a boom. You get it? You made it seem like, what's the? I was like, it's not that. I tried to say it, so I had to get a little more technical with you. I tried to tell you that it didn't just happen overnight. It was a gradual process.
Go ahead, Reggie.
But
real quick
before Reggie go, I want to ask like a question, and then I'm done. When you set up a nome, it's like, you know, like I said, setting up a province, a district, you would have who would be, in modern times, you classify like a monarch or someone who would manage taxes, make sure that the irrigation and just the land was ruled properly.
A governor. A governor.
Okay, yeah, you can have a governor. If you have someone,
and the governor is beholden to the state.
First nome, if you have someone regulating that in your first nome, why would they not be a representative of the state?
Right.
How would you answer that?
Yeah, because the A group was still in control of that. That's why.
What?
It doesn't matter if they're in control. If the king is setting up, let's say a governor for sake of terms, if the king is setting up a governor or monarch in that region, and that's classified as his first administrative property, identified under this new unification, that location would be a part of the state, and that person would be a representative of the state, regardless of the conditions and, you know, the people. It would be based on administration.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no Egyptian sovereignty there, bro. And I'm
I understand what you're saying, but they run the area.
No, I'm saying
they run the area.
I'm saying you didn't. Go give me the text that says they conquered it. There is no such thing.
It's not about conquering. It's not about conquering. It's the fact that he set up administration there in the first place.
I mean, so y'all just want to fight. Y'all don't want to recognize that I said it's not true. So what is? You're not telling me what it is. You tell me what you believe it to be.
No, I'm not telling you what I believe.
Yes.
They did set up taxation in Memphite area.
So just go get the records. Go get it.
The dominant god there. What are you talking
Taxes from who? From the A group? The A group is still in charge.
There.
What people? I said the A group is still in charge. That's what I said. There's no record of conquest there.
They're still in charge. There's a new administration.
What new administration? There's no record of conquest. What?
So
Who?
Nama, under Nama.
Nama. I said Nama.
Let me talk. You're not being fair.
You next, bro. This is crazy. Bro. You next.
It's not crazy. I know y'all hear what I'm saying. First of all, no one even introduced the fact that it was a gradual process. No one said that. Second point, everybody thought it was conquered. Haskell said that. I said it wasn't. Reggie can't say no more than that. Go ahead, Reggie.
All right, thank you. So from the time period of Aha, what encompasses the so-called Egyptian polity or state goes from the Delta to the middle Egypt, right, to Tasseti. However, the problem is all we have.
Thank you, Reggie.
All we have is during this time period is a year label mention of smiting of Tarseti, indicating a Nubian campaign from Aha into that area to make it what they are trying to accomplish. That's all we have. The smiting.
Why are you calling it Nubian at this
What I
time?
agree with Ankh is that it was a gradual process, and just because they were smiting Tarseti doesn't mean that they completely worked out everything. It was on the border, was contested. It was always contested, and so I think that's the best that I could give you with that with pretty much what I said is that you got to understand Egyptian propaganda because they smited Tarseti. They might have had one win, but it wasn't completely. All parts of it wasn't under the polity of Egypt. It was a gradual. It was gradual, and sometimes they left that area just like they left the Levant. They're there smiting, and then because of a change of king or interest inside it, then they take less emphasis on it. But the record would say that they smited these particular areas. Egyptologist now maybe comes in, depending on Egyptologist, and on their best evidence or not, right? They make these assertions that you find in publications, but it's not always agreed as to what the Egyptians had control of. So this Nubian, the so-called Nubian A group, this group was alive during the Nakata 2 and 3 period, at least that the Egyptians took notice of it, but then it became a gradual process. So I think sometimes we go hard and fast where we should be more loose and show nuances, right?
But Reggie, let me ask you a question, right? You a while ago you said that during the time of when Narmer was doing his thing, Tarseti was basically autonomous, right? Or retained a degree of autonomy, right?
Yeah,
Could the same be right? Could the same be said for the Delta region?
Yes. The Delta has groups in it like the Rakit, and then I talked about the Levant, where it just depends on a nuanced view as to what parts that they had control of. So they definitely seem to have smite the Rakit population, which had been a population that remained there and enough to continue to talk about it. And the Rakit population seemed to be somewhat connected to the Levant and possibly to Libya. So Egyptian propaganda is one thing. Egyptological, this whole thing of dynastic and all that stuff, that's Egyptological convention. Prior to that, there's, of course, there's Scorpion and there's other ones that are less known, like King Elephant and et cetera, et cetera. But Egyptologists
So even that is questionable then.
King Bull, yep. Yeah, King Bull, who's up there. There's a lot of pre-dynastic kings that were buried in the same grave area where Norma was eventually buried at. So,
right, and they could be called chiefs. They could probably more called. There's a lot of chieftainships, and so just because the Egyptians smite.
Reggie, I'm wrong, Reggie. I didn't say that right.
Why you got to bring yourself into it? I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking you a question. Did I say it correctly? Come on, man.
You said yes. I agree with you. I agree with you that it was a gradual process, and that what we have. Let me lower my voice.
Right, I'm just asking you. Come on, bro.
Yeah. So like I said, I think that it's a nuanced view. I think that what we have is a smiting. That doesn't mean that they brought in all of Tarseti. That means that they had some control.
So Reggie,
no, it don't. Did Tarseti write back?
Reggie, all right. So what about these copper mines that I read about in Buhen that were in under Egyptian control? Do you know anything about that?
What okay, so yes. But now I have to ask you, what period or the copper mines of Buhen?
Right. From my memory, from what I remember reading, it said it was around 2700 BC. Supposedly it was under quote unquote Egyptian control.
Yes. So roughly about, I guess, maybe the fourth dynasty, right?
Yeah, somewhere there about
2600. Then you have an interest in that area, but then that would go. Listen, some things we don't have to fight about. It was a gradual process, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Buhen is basically in damn near in Sudan, or if not in Sudan, right? So
yes, but that's after
Aha. That's after Norma. That's fine. That's after Aha.
Aswan wasn't the southern border of Egypt.
Depends on the time.
We're talking about at the unification of Egypt, right? When Egypt becomes Egypt, we're saying that Aswan wasn't. So I thought the Egyptians established the cataract as their natural border.
That's made up. That's some made up Egyptology shit. There is nothing in the Egyptian records that sets the first cataract as any sort of border. Number one, here's another thing, right? Kom Ombo is north of the first cataract, right? Kom Ombo is a part of Taseti. Right? So if this so-called border is at Aswan and Taseti is, and Kom Ombo is supposedly a part of Taseti, then how is that a border?
Well, what do you mean part of you mean in within the dome of Taseti? That's pretty much what you're talking about. In the nome of Taseti.
So can I ask you a question? The white crown, the last evidence, the white crown comes from Aswan.
Mm-hmm.
And the A group wore the white crown. We know the Egyptians wore the white crown. What the hell are we talking about right now?
Okay.
Let's dig into that for a minute, Reggie. That's interesting.
Haskell is saying that it's Egypt. We're saying it is Egypt.
Not. It's not. I'm gonna say it again. Reggie, go in. Haskell, watch this.
Hey,
white crown is right where you just said it.
Right? Hold on. But he agreed that by at least the fourth dynasty that it was, though. Because if they have controlled all the way south as far south as Buhen, to where they're extracting copper for the benefit of the state, they're in control of that area.
It's contested.
So what was the kingdom? What was the kingdom that controlled Aswan?
Hold on.
What was the kingdom?
Let me make this point. Let me just say
this. If Egypt was a kingdom, right? And so if Egypt was a kingdom and they control Luxor, then what was the kingdom that controlled Aswan?
I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to say this. It's a complex society. I'm going to say it again. It's a complex society in the areas that you're talking about. And any complex society can say, I'm going to go ahead and loan the land rights out for y'all to go and work that mine. Just pay me this. I just want y'all to understand that. So y'all got to understand what complex societies do. Simple as that. If you got the technology, the mind and stuff, you can get it for this. No problem. That don't mean they conquer nothing. We got to stop this. Y'all ain't got nowhere to say that in the record. That's the point that needs to be made. It's not a stagnant hunter-gatherer group. It's a complex society we talking about here. Nobody is running through a complex society.
Okay,
they got the white crown, bro.
So
but go ahead.
Well, no, complex societies get overrun by more superior societies all the time. That's what happened.
But it didn't happen.
Right. Now you express confidence in it happening during the 11th dynasty when Mentuhotep II went on his campaign, right?
Yeah, you agree? They got him for a minute, and then it changed back, and then they get the Egyptians.
Right. But that's why they have That's what they call the intermediate periods. That's just like the Civil War here in the United States, right? While the war is going on, you can't consider the Confederate States a part of the U.S. while the
Now
war is going on.
That's an interesting take right there. I like that. That's very
Right?
interesting. You hit them with the Civil War.
Right. So it's no different. It's like motherfuckers. It's states right now that feel like they want to that would want to secede from the United States if they had the power to do that shit. Right. So
why would you fight that though, yo? Why can't you see the victory? Like, why would you think about that though, yo? Like,
right. But that's what I'm saying. That's the point that I'm making. Why are you so confident in the idea that that area was fully under Egyptian subjection during Mentuhotep II's time? What is that based on?
I didn't say that was old. It's but Reggie can give you the archaeological finds because that's when they start to agree that they actually had some control right there in that area. That's not a problem.
Okay,
that's part of back and forth. That's like right now we trying to get control of Greenland before Russia do. Yeah. Right? That's not a that don't mean it's what society complex societies do. The Egyptians wasn't no more slicker than the Nubian kingdoms. And because they don't say that, they used to play it was the wild game. We don't know what really happened because the Nubians wasn't writing. So we don't know what really happened.
What you mean the Nubians wasn't? Well, you're right. The first writing was found in Abydos, right?
Right.
But wasn't there?
No,
hold on.
Abydos ain't Nubia?
No,
it's not. No, it's not. That's Upper Egypt.
So we have iconography that we think that's absorbed later in ancient Egyptian writing, like the Hejjet, right? So what we have is rock etchings, right? And during this time period, but the time period of the Hejjet, right, is really around what you call Dynasty 0. So that's pre-dynastic. That's pre-dynastic, and you have different polities. So you have Nakata 3, and then you have this Nubian A, right? Then you have later Narmer, but Narmer is credited to trying to unify it, but stronger it happened with Aha, Djur, Djet, and it was a continuous process. So Egypt what we will call in a dynastic form, will begin to absorb these particular places or parts of these particular places. And that's what we have. So the Egyptians stayed under Narmer. You can look from the marshes all the way down to roughly Aswan. Buhan and stuff like that is even further down, right? That comes much later, right? In this particular story. So that's why I'm saying that we can play hard and fast, and then you can do nuances and loose and nuances just to try to absorb all the archaeology that's there. So I guess the original conflict.
So to answer Ank's question, because he said you may have the answer, right? Because you both have expressed a certain level of confidence in the idea that Mentuhotep had a more degree of what we consider control over that area. What gives you the confidence in that and not the confidence in Narmer having that similar type of control?
I don't have the confidence of I really don't have the confidence of Mentuhotep, because you have the Hekakasu period where all of this stuff is really highly contested until the Confederation. The Hyksos was a confederation of people who just didn't like Egyptian politics, right? So I don't have, I'm loose with nuances. I'm not the one who's hard and fast. But what I will straighten out is Dynasty 0. Dynasty 0 is before the unification, and then Aha will absorb more with iconography of smiting Tarseti, meaning they let Tarseti know that you on a watch list, right? If we don't get you now, we're gonna get you later. And so you know, I'm not in disagreement with a whole lot of stuff, because I think when we put the nuances, is that we can come to a conclusion, right?
So was that area part of the state during Mentuhotep II's time? Yes or no?
Was exactly during Mentuhotep's. Let me just look this up. During Mentuhotep,
Yeah, the second was the area between the first and second cataract under his control, under central authority.
Okay, so first and second cataract. Again, meaning they just won a war, right? Is some of this stuff still contested? So you're asking me.
But that's always the case in any war. Like even like it's shit's always in contest. Like it states in the United States right now that say they want to secede from this shit, but they still paying their fucking taxes.
Right, but looking at it in a modern sense versus another sense, what they might do is put up a border. They might put up a border stele, right? And the other groups that walk up to it and piss on it. It's not the same.
That don't come on, Reggie.
Hey Reggie, let me share my screen real quick.
This motherfuckers are piss on the American flag, but they motherfucking pay their taxes and they got a driver's license though.
Now you have to show me an inscription. You have to show me. I know we have to smite it. Now we have to see some type of. I have to look a little bit deeper to see what. Remember, these are chiefs in this whole area, and these chiefs themselves don't agree. It's not like one state in Tassetti. It's a bunch of confederations there.
Yes, right? But that's the same. That's virtually the same with. All right. So let's look at ancient Greece, for example, right? You have about 12 or so city-states, right? You got Corinth, Syracuse, Athens, blah, 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 Macedonia, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. There was only one very brief moment where they were able to consolidate all that shit under one, right? Mm-hmm. But they have, according to the history, the conventional history, it says that it was, it was consolidated at a point in time, but for the vast majority of the history, that shit wasn't consolidated. Right? Now with Egypt, it's the opposite of that. But now y'all telling me this is new to me.
All right, let's do this. Hold on, Reggie. Let me bring this in here. I think this is important. So y'all see what the article is, right? It's basically Upper Egypt, right? You got it. Okay. So let's just deal with the people in the Upper Egypt. This might help some of the confusion. All right. I think there's a important point to be made right here. So the people of Upper Egypt, right? It says in Upper Egypt, the pre-dynastic Badarian culture was followed by the Nakata culture. They say being closely related to Lower Nubians. Okay? Now, it says with some affinities with other Northeast African populations. It says coastal communities from the Maghreb to the tropical African groups and possibly inhabitants of the Middle East. Watch this. This is what mainstream says. Mainstream scholars have situated the ethnicity and the origin of pre-dynastic Southern Egypt as the fundamental community, right, primarily in Northeast Africa, which includes the Sudan, tropical Africa, and the Sahara, while it's recognizing the population variability that became characteristic of the Pharaonic period. Pharaonic Egypt featured the physical gradation across the regional populations, with Upper Egyptians having shared more biological affinities with Sudanese, Southern African populations, whereas Lower Egyptians had closer genetic links with the Levant and the Mediterranean population. And so I click this piece right here, right? Click this on. This is clearly Egyptian, quote unquote, soldiers in Upper Egypt. You click right here. This is Nubian soldiers in 11th dynasty, both in 11th dynasty. I'm saying is these people are closer in ethnicity than the people in Lower Egypt. You're literally talking about two different situations to the point where they went to war. That situation, Tassetti,
Hey, I don't see Nan Zahil Watts nigga up in them phalanxes right there. I ain't seen a Zahil Watts in there yet.
But why would you? You in Upper Egypt. You get it? You get that? Like his type, like, why would you? It wouldn't even make sense. Evolutionary, when you deal with the evolutionary process.
Nah,
But
somebody told me them people was highly mixed.
No,
Somebody who knows genetics.
No. Wait. My point is, genetics does not define phenotype. I'm gonna say it again. Genetics does not define phenotype. Like, that's crazy to think that. So these people can have add mixture with them. No one's saying it. I'm saying
No, but they want to act like the Zahi Hawass and the Bassem Youssef types was all up in Upper Egypt. No, they was not. Yes, it's a range, but it's some shit that's outside the range. And Zahi Hawass is outside the range when it comes to Upper Egypt at this time.
I just want to end with this. I'm not understanding why we don't understand that the groups that are located in Upper Egypt is more closely related to the groups that's in Lower Nubia. I don't understand.
Everybody is on the same page with that. What are you talking about?
When we go to Lower Egypt, those groups live in close proximity to those in the Delta. So they'd be more closely related to those in the Delta. Just like the Egyptians in Upper Egypt are going to be more closely related to the Nubians, the people in Lower Egypt is going to be more closely related to the people in the Levant. It's just common sense, bro. You get it? Like, I don't see the problem with any. I'm saying it's racism that makes us see that there's only one type of African. There's no one way to be African. That's not real. That's based off of racism. And so it's almost like we trying to play the racist game at this point. They said that because when they went to Africa and they was in the northern region, that they did not look like the people in the southern region, that the people in the northern region was Caucasians and the people in the southern regions was Negroes. That was fundamentally wrong. It was the misrepresentation of African diversity. African diversity. They didn't know what the hell they was doing. So now, in turn, we saying that, wait a minute, man, if you're not dark-skinned with the big lips, then you're not African. That is a racist rule. Hawaus can be just as African as the statues I just showed. That's not an issue.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want Brass to read this real quick. This is from Toby Wilkinson's early.
You can't be serious.
Yeah, I'm dead.
You can't.
Anytime want you to read that, though.
One nigga that don't care about none of this gotta read this, all this shit. All right, so listen, real quick. Sometime around 3100 BC, Egyptians found themselves under the control of a single unified government presided over by a king claiming divine authority. The various political groupings of the pre-dynastic period had coalesced during the period of state formation, leaving the ruler of this as king of the two lands. Administration was now conducted on a national scale, bringing with it advantages as well as constraints. The burden of taxation imposed by the court may have exceeded that levied by provincial rulers, and corvée labor for royal building projects may have made increasing demands on the rural population. But in return, a centralized administration provided a stabilizing influence and critically a guarantee of emergency relief in times of famine through the maintenance of central stocks of grain. O'Connor, 1972-99. Though the impact of political decisions was now felt countrywide, the existence of a bureaucratic apparatus was by no means a new phenomenon. The invention of writing in the late pre-dynastic period was undoubtedly a result of the need for detailed accounting and record keeping. As the courts of Upper Egypt intensified their involvement in specialized craft production and foreign trade, the continuities between late pre-dynastic and early dynastic Egypt and other spheres, such as material culture and kingship ideology, make it likely that at least some of the institutions of the early dynastic administration were inherited. Roth, 1991, 1 through 2. Indeed, the ceilings from Abydos Tomb B2 and the accompanying pit B0, I'm assuming, which mention the office of Nibi, Kaiser and Dre, 1982. Well, those are the sources. Connected with managing the produce of royal domains, indicate that some of the characteristics of early dynastic administration were already in existence towards the end of the pre-dynastic period. It has been suggested.
You can stop there. So that goes along with what Reggie was saying earlier, but that's only showing like around 31 to 3000 BC. They set up this administration. Earlier, I think you showed the other PDF with the survey of Memphis, and it had Ptah's tomb there. You don't craft and set up a tomb in an area you don't create, you don't control, because the people would destroy it. So for them to put up a tomb there, a temple there, a temple of Ptah, they had to have some control in that area enough to be able to have the construction done and have the property, established and still standing. There's no reports that it was ever striking down by the locals there.
So Mel, you basically saying that they may have had some administrative control, but had not colonized the area yet. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's all I'm saying.
I can work with that.
Haskell, close out.
Hey y'all, it's been fun, man. Yeah, we definitely gonna do this again. Gonna do some more research. Yeah, I learned a lot, man. This brand new to me.
Really?
I got some new information.
Man, these are old ass conversations.
I know, that's crazy. Mel, how long we been saying this?
Too long. Over 10 years. Too long.
Hey, Peter, that's why I don't understand why y'all fighting.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Go ahead, Grass. Hey, Grass, appreciate you letting me on the platform too, brother. Appreciate
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for coming out. We've been here for 5 hours. I'm about to fucking choke. Y'all have a great time. Check out the video. We're gonna bring Gullah back by himself so he can present his information. We appreciate all y'all support. Good evening, good night.